also bringing other creative practitioners, cultural and creative practitioners in the province from different service points. Yesterday was a very, very great day, and a lot of people were able to access great information. Yeah, so just bringing the funders to these engagements alone, it doesn't help anyone. Because one of the challenges that we've noted as organized formations is that, yes, this funding is there, but the reality of the matter, they are very inaccessible, or it's difficult for artists to access this funding. So when we have these national meetings with the ministers and the National Arts Council, NAVF, and NHC, there's always a gap. You find that when you look at the figures in terms of the artists who were funded in a certain period, your Northwest, Northern Cape, Mpumalanga, they are always falling behind, and some part of Limpopo. You'll find your Gauteng, your KZN doing very well. So if you talk of Northwest, Mafikeng and Rustenburg will do well. Then you still find artists in townships, small dorpies and villages. I hope that concept is still there. I remember once went to a meeting for that concept. You find artists there, they are not accessing these opportunities. So my job here is to show you guys how to get this money that they were presenting. It's true, artists are cultural practitioners, they are not academics, so compliance is a problem. A writer is a person who writes books, an actor is an actor. A lot of artists are not educated, so we help each other along the way to do these things. So our Facebook page is there, is South African Arts and Culture Youth Forum. So it's important for you to like that page because we post a lot of opportunities there. So my proposal is going to focus more on writing a proposal. My presentation is going to focus more on writing a winning proposal. So you can do better than this. I'm just presenting something that I've seen working. When we present this, those who follow this, they always access opportunities. But then I'm not saying it's the ultimate final thing. I'm just giving you an idea when you're drafting your proposal. Whether it's literature, it's music, it's visual arts, it's theater, it doesn't matter. This can apply to anything. So yesterday, Dunisani from the National Department of Arts and Culture spoke of touring venture. And I think there was a confusion. So touring venture, you can tour anything. You can tour a production show for theater. You can tour this puppetry show. It simply means we are going to take this show to Gauteng, to Limpopo, overseas, wherever. The only thing, you must have a letter of invitation if it's a show you're going to perform. So you can tour a music show, because the difference between a cultural event, touring venture, and a public art, there's a difference. Who can tell me the difference of that before I can even go into these things? I just want to identify something. Who can tell me the difference between the cultural event, touring venture, and the public art? I want us, let's be engaging. Let's have a conversation. Who can my call taps? Yeah, anyone who can tell me the difference. Can you understand these things? Because obviously, when you apply for Mzansi Golden Economy funding, they've got cultural events, touring venture, public art. Anyone, just try, guys. Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm a brother at the back there. The difference between cultural events, touring venture, and public art.
I'm thinking for a cultural, like from an example in Northwest area, like cultural calabash. That's a culture. Then the touring, I'm thinking for a industrial where we're giving back to community. The community, maybe we did the show more the mobile bus, then that's the by the way, ke naganang ka teng, ke fela fo tota.
Public art.
Public art, then public art, ke bo di TV, yalo le yalo, bo di puppets, yalo le yalo.
Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, I'm happy the screen's back. Yeah, so okay, you are getting there. So the difference, as my brother is saying, okay, cultural events, it's every event that is done in a hall or in a stadium, it's done in a place where there's no movement. It doesn't move, like the festival that was done here, the one that was very expensive. What is the name of the festival? It's a cultural event. Those are the events that Dunsan was talking about to say, these are events that happened, they support them under the flagship program. Cultural event simply means an event that is happening in one place. Like, if when it's a festival, like, go township community, a stadium, or holong, so something like that, or here at the theater. So touring venture is the same thing, Mara, you are moving into different areas. Maiking, kai. Then public art. It's like these guys perform a momo no one in a public space. They can apply it's a puppetry show, go molong in a public space, or go airport, or go more the busing, go Joburg. So they think public art is very good because, you know, the reality life is difficult for everyone. So sometimes you forget about your problems. You know, so that's why they really fund such kind of programs. So I want you to look into that when I present these things. You can see my presentation, right? I know it's not very big, but I just want you to see the packaging. Here there is a logo of the organization. There is what we're doing, date, whatever, then social media thing. There is a table of contents there. Maybe you can see it. There's part A, part B, part C. Part A, which is arts, culture, and heritage access to funding proposal guideline. Part B, general structure for writing and arts and culture funding proposal. Part C, proposal example for Mafiking Young Writers Workshop. So I'm going to also have a full proposal. Whoever's going to take it can take it. It's called Mafiking Young Writers Workshop. This one, it will be funded, most definitely. Yeah, so, no, don't just copy this thing the way it is. Yeah. Oh, you know why I'm showing you this, ne? When you write a proposal, it must be clean, you know what I'm saying? Because the presentation, it matters as well. You need to be clear. Sometimes the funders, some people don't want to read everything. They just want to go straight to the point. They want to look at the budget, what. Okay, so let's get into this thing. So, as I've said, I'm going to speak about arts, culture, and heritage access to funding guidelines. So I just want to touch a bit on the issues because it doesn't help me to just talk about the proposal when you don't understand what these institutions are looking at. I'm going to focus on the main institutions that are funding artists, that are funding a minimum of 2,000 to 3,000 artists a year. So the guideline aim is to provide comprehensive framework to preparing successful funding proposal for various funding institutions in South Africa, which will include the National Arts Council, National Film and Video Foundation, National Lottery Commission, National Heritage Council, and the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, MGE, Mzansi Golden Economy. So here, obviously, we want to make sure that there's an understanding in terms of the specific requirements of each funding institution, which is very crucial in maximizing the chances of anyone to get funding. So when you talk of the National Arts Council, for example, this is the institution that is funding 70% of arts and culture projects in the country in many different categories. So when you are drafting this proposal, you must clearly define the artistic, cultural, and significance of the project. You must provide a detailed project proposal outlining the project objectives, activities, timeline, budgets, and expected outcome. You must demonstrate the artistic merit, innovation, and potential impact of your project on the arts sector. You must also ensure compliance with NAC funding guidelines and criteria which may vary in the specific year. So each funder has got guidelines. The only way to access funding is to understand the guideline. Once you understand the guideline, you are done. So who can apply for the NAC? It's a person who is an individual. Individuals, can I please have water as well? Individuals are people who are applying. using their ID number. They don't have a company. They are using their ID number and they are using, thank you. And they are using they must have a bank account. So there are artists who can apply with registered companies with CIPC, artists with NPOs and non-profit companies. So the difference between NPO is that NPC is registered at the CIPC. And you can register with 3 people. NPO is the one with a lot of people. Artists must have letter of reference about them from community arts, as the NAC said yesterday. So don't worry about the letter of reference. You can get the letter of reference from an artist in your community, from the church, from Ukonibu Prima Literary Festival, Lit Focus Festival. You can get it from Sakai, you can get it from the municipality, from the councillor. So it's just, the letter is just to say, this is Romeo. Romeo is a theater practitioner that we know, is staying where, and then it must be signed. So the National Film and Video Foundation focuses film and video and television projects. Your telenovelas, movies and things like that, and also workshops and stuff like that. But they also offer bursaries. So here you must align the proposed project with the, this is the National Lottery Commission, sorry, not, I think I skipped, okay, yeah. I was at the National Film and Video Foundation. You must actually develop a compelling project proposal, including synopsis, budget, production schedule, distribution plan for film and television projects. You must ensure that the proposed project align with the NAVS objectives and eligible criteria, which may include requirements. These obviously they are there in the guidelines of a specific funding. So with the NAVF is different from the National Arts Council, because when you're writing productions for film, for documentaries and so on, they're gonna need things like synopsis, budgets. I know there are institutions that do training in terms of developing such kind. So who can apply here? The criteria is the same as I've just said with the National Arts Council, but sometimes they differ depending on the funding. You're gonna have your presidential employment stimulus program, which they add some few things, but those things are the same as these ones. So the National Lottery Commission, many people, they don't know that the Lotto fund the arts. They do fund the arts, as we heard yesterday. They are even contributing in a lot of big scale projects. But because people are not saying these things, people don't know. So this one, you must just align as well with your proposed project with the NLC priority areas, such as community development, arts and culture, and heritage presentation, and arts in schools project. You must provide comprehensive project plan. But this one mostly, they don't care about the project proposal. They give you a form, you just fill there what document I'm going to share with everyone who's attending the workshop, right? I asked one brother here, if you want me to email you this, just write an email on that. You must, clearly define the significance of the heritage project and its contribution to the preservation of South African heritage. I mean, in every community, there's a lot of heritage projects. So the NLC as well is funding a lot of projects which are dealing with heritage stuff. Also, they can fund you for a research project. Agree, you are writers. So they can fund you to write about your local heritage or a research concept. So they are funding also, here they don't fund companies, they're funding NPCs and NPOs. Yeah, the Mzansi Golden Economy, you must align your proposed project with the economic development objective of the MGE. Your project must show that it's going to create jobs. There will be skills development. There will be market access for artists and cultural practitioners. So what we mean by jobs, the MGE focuses to create jobs for the artists. Meaning, when you are hosting a festival like this one, Wukonibu Prima Literary Festival, there are jobs that are created because there are people here who are facilitating, who are doing many things. So you need to be able to show in your project, okay, I'm hosting a festival, I'm going to hire 10 artists. I'm going to hire the stage and sound, I'm going to hire the cameraman, I'm going to have the marketing team. I'm going to have, do a workshop for 50 people, I'm going to pay them a stipend of 1.5. So they want to see the kind of jobs that will come out of that. You must also clearly demonstrate the economic viability. Sustainability is like, how do you create a project? Like, obviously, when you talk of literature, a lot of writers, there's a challenge in terms of access to market. Because if you look at I was also discussing with the library ladies yesterday, if you look at the state of the literature sector, those bookshops exclusive, it's very difficult for you to get your book there. You must go through a white company of Mr. Mang, and you get a very small percentage. Unfortunately, you don't even know how many copies of your book are being sold, because you don't have control, you see. So that's why us, as SACAIF, we are engaging with people like Bolerato and others, and we will also be engaging with the publishing houses to say, how do we create an alternative, black-owned distribution and market for the books? Because I say, for example, what I've seen working, I prefer to do exhibitions in the mall, because in the mall, people who are going there, people who are having money. There's nobody who can go to a mall without money. Even if you're escorting somebody, somebody has got money there. So I've seen when you do this thing, like in Limpopo most of the time, we do this exhibition even in Gauteng. People who buy books, there are people who like books. Because in a mall, it's a family who's going to buy something. It's a husband and wife and kids. Some, they've got mini libraries in their house and so on. So it's something that we're also going to look into in terms of expanding these literary festivals that we're part of. So the MGE requirements are the same. It's individual artists who have a copy of their IDs and bank account, artists with registered companies, artists with registered NPOs and NPCs must have letter of reference. So during yesterday, he said with the MGE that they change from time to time. What is happening in the political space that these things are also changed because there's a new MEC, there's a new premier, or there's a new minister. Some of these focus change. Yeah, so we're going to part B, which is going to be just talking about the general structure for writing an arts and culture funding proposal. Writing a proposal for arts and culture funding can be a rewarding process. When crafting your proposal, it's essential to clearly articulate your vision and impact of the project and how the funding will be used. So this is just a general structure that I'm going to show. So for example, okay, let's start with this one. Some people can have an executive summary. It's like when you write a book, normally you'll have an executive summary. Right? What is an executive summary? Okay, you are right, my brother. What is an executive summary? Capture out.
Dumelang mokgetso.
Dumelang.
Yo buang fa ke Dumeleng Kolodi. Go tswa ko motsaneng wa Kopela. Ke tla ileka. Ke tsaya gore executive summary ka tswa le kwalo lengwe le tlhalosang diteng tsa buka.
Yeah.
Ka kakaretso.
Yeah, which way? Executive summary, when you read it, it must, actually it's a summarized version of what is inside that particular writing. It's very correct, my brother. You are a writer. This one, you always deal with it. So obviously here, you're going to introduce your organization or your company, your name, and provide a brief overview of the project. Highlights the significance of the project in promoting the arts and culture. So for example, our organization, let me just say, our organization XYZ. Okay, our organization SACAIF, okay, let me use my name. Our organization Romeo Arts Foundation aim to launch a community arts project that will bring together local artists and residents to create public murals celebrating the cultural diversity of our city. Through this initiative, we seek to foster community engagements and promote cultural understanding through the arts. That is the executive summary of that. Then the introduction here is that you provide background information about your organization. Your name, I'm Romeo, I'm an activist, I've been in the arts for 20 years. Yeah, we've once barged into the MEC, my office, I write all those things about myself. I agree that is me. Then it's the company, you write your company there. But you write things which are related to what you are applying to. Because if you are applying for film, you can't write about music, you know. It must always be in line with what you're applying for. So you're going to explain that significance of the, okay, that project. Okay, yeah, they said provide background, or introduction, provide background information about your organization and its mission. Explain the significance of arts and culture in enriching communities and fostering creativity. Example, Romeo Arts and Culture Foundation is a non-profit organization dedicated to promoting artistic expressions and cultural exchange in our community. We believe that arts and culture play a vital role in enhancing the quality of life and inspiring social change. So, these things, the only unfortunate part, I know, like the program of today is more focused on Setswana, again. Mara batho ba banya ba rata sekgowa too much. It's a reality. Dilo tse ba di etsa ka sekgowa. So you need to understand, you need to write these things ka sekgowa sona se re rata. But what can we do? We give them what we want, we get what we want. So you must have your project description there. You outline the specific project for which you are seeking funding, you know. Detail the goals, objectives, and target audience of the project. It's important to identify the target audience, like what the MC, our MC, not MEC, why I like this MEC thing. Like what our beautiful MC did there. She realized, no, this is not for young kids, you know, it's like, it's for people who are ready to apply. She said, kids, they have got their own program. Target audience, they've got their program that they are attending now, which is very good. So example, I can say our proposed project, Arts Across Borders, will involve organizing a series of workshops. It's description of the project. This project is called Arts Across Borders. It will involve organizing a series of workshops and exhibition that showcase the work of immigrant artists in our community. Through this project, we aim to celebrate cultural diversity, amplify underrepresented voices, and create a platform for dialogue on issues related to immigration. So project description is very important. So you are applying for funding, you are saying you want to make a speaker, or you want to make what is this, a podium, this thing, or this mic, or by the time the person finish reading your proposal, they must see it mentally. You must write a proposal like that. If you are writing a film script, the readers must, if you're going to propose, let's say to multi-choice, when they go through it, they must see this action. When they're reading this part, they must be able to see whatever. If you are saying you want to make a microphone, I must be able to see that microphone at the end of the day. So the budget and funding request, you provide a detailed budget for the project, including itemized examples. Clearly state the amount of funding you are requesting and how it will be used. Example, the total budget for Art Across Borders is 350,000, which includes artist fees, materials, marketing, workshop, exhibition. So basically on the budget and activities, is where the funders, they look mostly, because that is where they will know if you are going to create employment. I can tell you, if you write proposal without artist fee, you won't get funded. Because the arts funding is more about you creating employment for other artists to work. And also, when they read the budget, they will know if you know what they're talking about. If you are writing for theater or literature, and when you are talking about music, stuff, you see, so you need to make sure your budget aligns with what you are applying for, because that is very, very important. You see, I think that's why many people have been complaining about others who are being funded. Guys, don't be angry when other people make money. We want money. Yeah? You don't want money. So why are you jealous when others are making funded? Why don't you ask them, hey Muna, you're always being funded. What is your secret? You see, because don't point fingers from a distance. It's like people who attend these sessions. You see, I'm presenting. Maybe you've got a question. Maybe your rat is who, but you don't say anything. But after presentation, you speak. How is this going to help you? Do you understand? So let's engage people. Those who get funded, they must be your friend. Because it means they've mastered the recipe. Because funding is not difficult, but just follow guidelines and give them what they want. You must also get this money. I get this money for everyone. Or am I lying? So proposals, they must have timelines. Remember, Got the guidelines, I know like NAC mostly and MGE, they don't like a long-term project. Ne? They want you to do a project for at least a month or two if it's longer. They can give you 1 million just to do a project for 1 month or whatever. They don't care, or 3 days, 4 days. Why do you think Maika they spend 30 million or 20 million in 1 day or 2 days? It's because of the budgeting, they put things that they are putting there. There are many festivals that spend way a lot of money. Muritili Arts Festival, you know in Limpopo, they got this one called Mapungu Beer Arts Festival. Ne? They also spend a lot of money. And working with politicians and officials, some things are just inflated for no reason. So they once made one mistake. They brought this old-fashioned Joe Thomas in Limpopo. They were paying him 10 million for 1 day performance. And they were paying Limpopo artists 10,000. And in fact, they were not involving them until we marched to the MEC office. We did a picket, we shut it down. We said, no, we had to, you are taking this money of ours to America, 10 million, what's happening? They said, no, it's true. We said, no, it's not going to happen. We want to include 20 artists there in the lineup. Mind you, they already had a big lineup. They said, there's no space, it's not our problem. Agreed, you involve your own people, there's no balance. Then they agreed, they said, we'll take the 20. They must send their invoice. We said, yeah, it's good. We thought you're going to tell them how much to charge. You can't tell people how much to charge. They send their invoice, then they come back, they say, no, we're going to give everybody 10,000 rand. We went back, we refused that deal. Then artists, they can also sell you out. Some artists, the artists, they like to betray people, I know. I work with them every day. When we refused the 10,000, they went behind our doors, our back. They say, it's about Romeo, don't want the money. We want the money. You see, they got them. Some they are leaders. They are leaders, some of these artists. So these guys, Rena will continue marching, mind you. We didn't take the money. Remember, Rena, we don't perform. Rena will stick to our guns. No, at least 20,000, 25,000, depending on the category of the artist. Artists are different. These guys, then, they I don't know, maybe they were very angry, I don't know. They went behind our back, they were booked. So on the day of the performance, we were picketing at the VIP area. You know artists, they like VIP. Then these are the same people who are our friends in the struggle. Then they find us, they were picketing, Amanda, hey. Then they say, hey, Romeo, hey, we'll talk. They're entering inside, you see. So these guys, we didn't bother them because they are working. Mara, we say, okay, what do we do to deal with this? This event was organized by Peter Tradi, for Joy of Jazz. We said, okay, because these guys, they think they're smart. Let's also deal with them very decisively. So we mobilized our members, Sakai Limpopo. Then we blocked around 12:01. We blocked they had a very long lineup, remember. It was starting at, I think, 11. We blocked the entrance of the artist, VIP, from 12 to around 4, to around 5. They called so many police. We didn't move. Artists were waiting to enter in line. Then we messed up the whole lineup. The event was a mess. Instead of artists performing a lot of time, they were performing few minutes. But we were showing them a lesson. You are not smart because you've got money. This money is for the artists, some more in provincing here. You are taking all the money to give a guy who's old-fashioned from America. It's wrong. Because the artists in their provinces, they must always benefit. So I was just raising that because these things are happening in terms of the timelines of the events and so on. You need to make sure your timeline is, if you get, okay, let me give you an example. If you get funded 100,000, you can do a project for the whole month or 2 months. You must do a project for a day or two because you must also make money at the end of the day, right? What's the point of running a project then you don't make money? So your budget will determine how much money you make and time you do your project. And always get paid more money, guys. Don't be scared of money. It helps. But you must pay yourself some good money. Remember, you don't work like an official for the department, right? You don't get paid every month. you might not get funded for the next 6 months or a year. So you must make sure that you are sustainable, you invest into some of your stuff so that you can sell your books, whatever, and stuff like that. Yeah, so we're going to the, yeah, then I think we're going to move to the example now because we've touched a lot of things. So what I did here was just to come up with a concept called Mafikeng Young Writers Workshop, because we're dealing with writers. So you can have Rustenburg Young Writers Workshop. Which other village do we have here? Township. My brother, where's the other guy? Where do you come from, by the way? Eh? Oh yeah, I can have Muntiwa Young Writers Workshop. Muntiwa Puppetry Showcase. Muntiwa Poetry Festival. Muntiwa Music Festival. Muntiwa Music Workshop. Muntiwa Visual Arts Exhibition. Northwest Visual Arts Exhibition. So, you see, before you write a proposal, you must have a good concept. Play around with words. And it's better to apply for something that you've got pictures of, ne? Because NAC strictly, they want some pictures of some sort. Like, I know the ladies, those ladies who are performing here, those pictures, they can use them to apply for their projects. So, okay, look at this concept, Bukonibu Pirima, Lit Focus Festival. Bukonibu Pirima Literature Focus Festival. That's a great concept. You know, so then once we have a concept, it's easy to write a proposal. Then here I can say, for this one of Mafikeng Young Writers Workshop, background, Mafikeng Young Writers Workshop is an initiative aimed at nurturing the literature talents of young individuals in Mafikeng community with a rich cultural heritage and a diverse population. Mafikeng has a wealth of untold stories and voices waiting to be discovered. The workshop seeks to provide a platform for aspiring writers to develop their skills, express their creativities, and contribute to the literary landscape of the Northwest Province. Don't we have untold stories here? Who must tell them? You see, the problem with South Africa is that we've got so many untold stories, they are being told by Americans. You find somebody from Discovery Channel coming here to shoot something. You know, it's very bad. We need to tell our own stories. That's why we must access opportunities. So that is the background of the place where the project will happen. Here. So the other thing that is important when you draft proposal, colleagues, is that those people are going to receive 1,000 plus, maybe, or 200. You are not the only one. So write brief, to the point, Mara, address what we are trying to address. The description of the project, the Mafikeng Young Writers Workshops, will consist of a series of writing sessions. So now I'm telling Tabza is evaluating, because I know you might be, he's going to be in part of the panels here. You must identify some people of Northwest that we must put in the panel as well. Yeah. By the way, Jones, guys, you know Jones from SIFS? Yeah, he's working at the NAC. You must bother him as well. Eh? He's having some good position there. So the Mafikeng Young Writers Workshops will consist of series of writing sessions. Who must do the writing sessions here? Who must hire facilitators, right? Yes, you are already creating a job here. Because you are going to hire somebody who must do writing sessions. You're going to have workshops. You're going to have mentorship programs designed to empower young writers and cultivate a vibrant literary community in Mafikeng. Participants will have the opportunity to engage in various forms of creative writing, including poetry, short stories, and personal essays under the guidance of experienced mentors and writers from the local literature scene. So it's important for you to create jobs for the local people, because they don't want you to just have people, look, you can do a project with local people only, but the focus, 80%, or 70 to 80, or 90 must be local people, because you must keep the resources within the local community. If it's Mafikeng, you have Mafikeng, you can have other people who are experienced. But look, there's nothing wrong with having a skilled person coming from somewhere, right? You don't ever compromise your projects, because you can do it once off and it's done. So we don't want one-off projects. That's why even this one, guys, it must continue and grow and become a bigger festival. At some point, we must engage the provincial government to say, we no longer feel, we are no longer happy with the small venue like a theater. We want a stadium. In Gauteng, they do this particular program in the stadium because the idea of this project is to sell books. It's for authors to sell books. And I'm happy, Sam, I'm very impressed. You bought about 3 or 4 books. That's very good. That's the kind of things that we need in this project. So, this project, it has got what a background, project description. The vision of the project is to foster a thriving community of young writers in Mafikeng who are empowered to share their unique stories and perspective with the world. Our mission is to provide accessible and inclusive platform for young writers to develop their craft, amplify their voices, and contribute to the cultural and literary enrichment. So these are brief, but they are straight to the point, right? Isn't it straight to the point? Don't you see now this thing coming together? So what is the objective? The objective is to provide, okay, the mission, I think we did the mission. The objective is to provide a mentorship and guidance to young writers in Mafikeng, to create a supportive and inclusive space for creative expressions and literature explanations, to showcase the diverse stories and voices of Mafikeng young youth through written work. Okay, I literally wrote 3 there. Can you give me other objectives? Who can give me another objective for this Mafikeng Young Writers workshop? What can be another objective? What can be, okay, my objective here is to provide mentorship and guidance to young writers in Mafikeng, to create a supportive and inclusive space for creative expressions and literature exploration, to showcase the diverse stories and voices of Mafikeng youth through written work. Tabs, give me, when you are a great writer, what other objective can I add there? And the MC, I'm pointing now, I'm pointing. I need one plus Sam. At Sam, we've got experience. I need one from the front.
Okay.
Objective, yeah.
Yeah, in addition to that, objective can also speak about the platform because people don't have a platform. Young writers, they don't have a platform where they can always express themselves, where they can, again, be incubated to a depth of understanding their process within.
So I can say to provide a platform for young writers.
Provide a platform for young writers, or to create an incubation platform. You know, incubation
Yes,
basically
incubation,
means, yeah.
yes.
So those can be additions to that.
It's a microphone, out of my microphone. Hey, off it.
Okay, thank you so much. Ne?
Okay, before you go, recreate objectives at this project. Ne? Okay, I'm gonna add mine now. Is to create job opportunities for authors and writers in Mafikeng, or to create job opportunities for artists in Mafikeng. Yeah, Sam?
Okay, Dumelang Batekamoga. I think we can add into an opportunity in terms of networking. For example, a book fair. We can have a book fair whereby all the writers by Longor, they publish their books. They can come in together to exhibit their books actually.
Okay, me I can say, I have Sam, but I can say because I'm talking about this workshop, to train writers so that we can end up developing a book fair where these writers can publish and sell their books. Ne? We're adding. Hey, we're still moving. I'm almost done. Hey, this side, hey, the MC. Hey, it's a my. Hey, we're moving. No, Ed. Just add. Objective, we are a writer's workshop.
But you've said it all.
No, it's never all. There's too much things to say. No.
It is all. It's,
No. Yeah, Ed.
Okay, I think I can add by saying that to make sure that the reading becomes a norm to our youth.
Yeah, nice objective. We try.
Yeah. Actually, he just stole my idea. I was going to say that to create
Another thing,
a culture of writing, reading, because reading cures ignorance.
Nice one, me. Mara sister, when watch how you've got something to say. Yeah. About feeling like okay, yeah.
Okay, I would say that an objective I would add, it would be to create an inclusiveness by inviting writers who have reading barriers, like people who've got dyslexia. so that they can also like come in, know that they're able to write their stuff, so that the younger generations that are coming in can also know that writing is not only limited to people who don't have reading disabilities, also them, they can also go into writing.
Yeah, to also include writers with challenges. That's a good objective. Actually, that is very important because as the speaker said yesterday, they also want to include people living with disability. My brother at the back, then we're coming to you. Yes.
Okay. Dumela gape wa gaetsho yo buang fa ke le sego motlhankane. Ntho e ke ratang go ka etsenya ke kganya to promote language evolution. Ka gore go botlhokwa thata gore lebelele kgolo ya puo. Sekai mo go jone bokwadi re ka ithuta bomaga wa farologaneng a le gore re tsa gore ga re atlisa mo bokwadi a ka tswela puo ya rona mosola kgotsa le dipuo tse dingwe re stope ka kganya go nna re
Yeah, I would say, when I engage after, we swear like a line fell already.
Okay.
We swear the first one, we swear. I remember my brother, remember me, then Rieka contact refers him. Yeah. Yeah.
The 2 points I wanted to raise have been highlighted.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to say to promote the culture of writing, and not just writing, but writing in our own indigenous languages, so that we can preserve our cultures and
Wow,
knowledge
nice.
systems. Yeah.
Nice one. Thanks, Kumuzo. At the back.
Dumela, ke James Shuping Sesogelo o buang. Nna ke kwetse to enforce learning and develop creativity within our community of writers.
Yeah. I know, Lina literally these things. You see, so if let's say Arsabwaka writing, Royal music, it's the same thing. To create a platform for the Mafiking musicians, you know, to assist recorded artists with their craft, to showcase their talents. I mean, I'm just showing with a different sector. I think you are the last person, then I'll finish.
Dumelang o buang ke Tlotlo Mosiane. Na e ke buang ka one is to teach artists how to monetize their craft.
Yeah, so you see, we tshwere ka that angle when we're saying the artists are going to rekisa, ba ngwala dibuka mara bana market. So is that simple, guys? Writing a proposal, most things we check out objectives, it's one way the concepts. So activities here, as I've indicated, we'll have writing workshops focused on various genres and writing techniques, one-on-one mentorship sessions with established writers, public reading and open mic events to showcase participants' work, publication of an anthology featuring works created during the workshop. So if you've got 10 writers, you workshop them, you train them maybe for a week, then at the end you produce an anthology, like what we did with Rato Million. We had 50 writers during COVID, we were teaching them online. Each writer was paid 1.5, just workshop fee. And we're teaching them online, and we asked them at the end to write about their poetry, about the experience of COVID. It was very, very great, you know. So target beneficiaries here, it will be, the workshop is open to young individuals between the age of 16 to 25, residing in Mafikeng, who have a position for who have a passion for creative writing and storytelling. We particularly aim to teach out aspiring writers from underprivileged background who may not have had access to formal writing education. So you don't close up people who don't have formal education. So timeline, you see, timeline is important because even at the NAC, they like the timelines. Okay, today, if you're applying for NAC, you can put today as a timeline. Timeline, I attended Bukoni Bupirima Literary Lit Focus Festival proposal writing workshop on this date. Then you write here on your timelines, the first one is recruitment and outreach, month 1. The first month, I'll be recruiting because you need to recruit and do your outreach. Then workshop sessions and mentorship, month 2 to 4. Depending on the budget, this can be within a month in a way. Public reading and open mic session. We can go to the mall and get a platform there, we do public reading. You don't have to do it in the library. Don't be old-fashioned. We're young people, now we must be active. So you know, we do these things, not the way people are used to them. Because I'm going to talk to Rato and youth chairman Taps. we need to organize a book exhibition at these malls. Ne? Maybe we choose 1 or 2. Yeah, we'll support it as archive. We'll talk about it maybe for a month or 2. Are you going to come and put your books there? I want to show you something. You'll see you're going to sell books. Because people who are going there, there are people who want to write, Mara, they don't know where to find your books. So we're going to take them to them. Because you know, one speaker once told me, Romeo, don't be like politicians. God, why? Our politicians have mastered the art of repetition. Repetition. They repeat a lie until you believe it's the reality. Even though you know, Rahman, this place, there's a pothole. This is not a pothole, it's just something. So what I'm saying, when people are coming to shop for a month, they are passing your book there every day. They are passing this book. They will hold it. I've seen it with visual art. People go to the malls, are married, they've got houses, they will buy your paintings, they will buy your books. You know, so some they will buy for the kids just to read. Maybe they like the title and something. So when we put the books there, the moment they see them, they will enter in, they will end up buying. Okay, I'm telling you, because it's a repetition, right? So we must be like politicians, Mara, in the literature way. We make sure people support our initiatives. So the outcomes, you must have your outcomes. The outcomes you must increase is to increase confidence and skills development in young writers. A published ontology featuring the work of workshop participants, a stronger sense of community and belonging among young writers. You can add many outcomes. You know, we can't go again back. Mara, I know you got this thing. So the budgeting here, for example, you can budget for workshop facilitation fees, writing material and supply, venue rental and workshop and events, publication. But you see, what is important, guys? You can get money. Don't spend all the money into things that you can get for free. Normalize building a relationship with your local department, officials, and the community center, the library. Look, guys, you don't have to like me to work with me. You might not like the officials, but they've got something that you can use into advantage to push the same agenda of the department, right? So here, venues normally, I prefer people to engage their local community and get venues from councillors and so on, so that we put more money into creating jobs. Publication and printing of course, marketing and outreach. If this project was not marketed, you are not going to know about it, right? So she put so much effort on marketing. There were food soldiers, online marketing, partnership with radios. You see, I think Tapelo and Rado, they've mastered the art of this thing, because the message was broad. You know, so, I mean, there were so many people who came here in these 3 days, and we really appreciate it. So in conclusion, we have done our proposal here now. So we are saying with the Mafike Young Writers Workshop represent a unique support to nurture the literary talents of young individuals in our community. By supporting this initiative, you will contribute to the development of vibrant literary culture in Mafike and provide a platform for underprivileged writers. Okay, people think young people don't like writing, and they do like writing. Mara, we're not exposing them to these things. The kids were not going to come here and sit for something called literature. I mean, the reality is that in our provinces, most of the things that are happening is music festival. So it's about time, I hope the officials of the department here, it's about time that the you said that festival is called Mahika Mahike. Mahika Mahike doesn't just focus strictly on music. It must also incorporate elements of literature and what, you know. So that, I think for me, the most important thing, it can be issue of the market. Ne? I'm giving you a concept, a challenge. We must create a Mahika literature market alongside the festival in the malls, where we have all these book exhibitions in the mall, because we are bringing in a lot of people from outside, right? So that is our agenda. That must happen, comrades. We will push it with you together. Ne? Let's demand to have a market. Agri government is there for us. They must listen to us. Well, not they like to dance and what. Yeah, it's fine. They must dance. But when these people are hungry, they come to the mall. Let them see our writers and the visual artists. You see, not just writers. We've got writers and visual artists. So I think my program, it will end here. But what is important is that whatever I'm going to present an email to you, you don't necessarily have to copy it like that. You know, this thing, some people can just change literature and put music, poetry. Mara, this won't work for NAVF. Eh? This one strictly is for the MGE, lottery, and NAC. Ne? The film one is different. I just wanted to do this one as an example. So, this is the structure of writing a simplified proposal, Mara, straight to the point. So what we're going to do now, we're going to open for a engagement.
Can we have at least 5 questions?
Yeah, we're going to have a few questions. Don't just only ask questions. We need questions and inputs, right? Because it doesn't mean one person has the answer or solution. You might feel, no, we need to also add this and that. But here you're going to need pictures, as I've said. Okay? So you need pictures. So when you apply for the NAC, they don't need this proposal. You just gonna, if you write something like this, you're just going to write, you apply on the system called GMS. Is their system where you apply online. Yeah, even the form, if you are applying physically, you're gonna have to fill in the form. Yeah, the GMS system is there. You just go to the NAC website or Facebook, you click apply. Then you're going to have to register as a user first. After you have registered as a user in the GMS, you can be able to apply. But if you wrote your email addresses on that paper, please make sure they are clear. If you get stuck, you must talk to me. I can assist online. We've got WhatsApp. Okay? We can help each other online. I'm also going to be doing a session for Sakai online on our page, on other things. A detailed one with also the GMS stuff. So, I'm saying the South African Arts and Culture Forum page, there's a group and page. The page, if you're having problems and you don't have our contacts, you can inbox there. I'm going to delegate people for this period of the NAC funding, especially the whole month of February, to help people who are stuck, who've got questions. Just write, I don't understand it, but I will leave your number phone so that we can communicate with you. So what is important is that don't apply things in the last minutes. As the guys were saying yesterday, you see today is the what? Is the 8th? Is the 10th? Is the 10th? We still have 20 days. This thing is closing on the 8th. I will be happy if I come back here. The hands which were complaining about others being funded also get funded. You see, this brother Sam, I know him. Ne? Sam is a great, he's an author, he's a publisher as well. You know, he was also not into this space. But he attended some of our sessions online. He's doing well as well. Everybody can do well. You know, and the NAC guys, Northwest is the, I can say Northwest, Mpumalanga, and Northern Cape. You guys, money is waiting for you guys. Because they are crying, because every time they present to Parliament, they are complaining, no man, why is money only going to Gauteng? Why about Northwest was apply? People are saying they don't know these things. These things are not that difficult. Also, you've got online, guys. There are online software systems. Check. If you know me now, what I used to do when I apply for funding, I was not the expert. I will just go to YouTube and say, writing a budget for a music festival, or Google. Ne? They take out the document. I take what I'm taking. Thank you very much.
Before we take questions, Chairperson, ne re kopa re papateleng, our other chairperson, that Tapelo, he wants to add on the presentation. Ke kopa re mo papatele matsoho as he ascends on the stage. And immediately after Abua, re tlo tseya only 5 questions so that re kgone ho move. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair, and also Romeo Ramada. This is a friend of mine for many years down the line. We traveled 9 provinces doing the very same job. Me and him, making sure that young people or artists on the ground, they got a platform, also the skills in terms of how to actually access funding, money. He explained a lot here. This is actually the basics of how to go about it. But there are a few things I wanted to add on this presentation. Colleagues, we need to understand at some point, there are key words or key phrases that normally our government uses when they make a call for funding, all these institutions. We need to be very familiar with those people. One of our challenges with regard to our own people in terms of drafting proposals and all that is the barrier ya language, which is a very serious one. You might have an idea of what you want to do, but for the fact that you don't know how to write it, express it in words, using the skill of writing, it becomes a problem, it becomes a barrier. You need to start to familiarize yourself. Practice makes perfect. Some of us, we started practicing in how to write a proposal, from the bush, from the blank of its own. Then we went ahead, gained some skills and knowledge of how to put it. I'm here today, a product of Nelson Mandela University, on how to write a professional proposal, how to write a business plan and all those things, which are initiatives that we followed because we knew we have a challenge. How can in our government that there are key words or phrases about social cohesion. In your thought of process or your thought process of writing a proposal, you must have it in your mind to say, how is my proposal speaking to social cohesion, which are key words that normally our government talks about. We also have other ones that called marginalized arts or artists, marginalized artists or indigenous arts. You need to know, Guti, if my project is about young writers, how are you going to cater the marginalized? How does your project speaks about the marginalized writers in the rural areas? Because now the government focus is shifting from your townships, from the provinces that are benefiting like Gauteng. They are focusing in Northern Cape, Northwest, which are the marginalized or underprivileged provinces. But the people in the underprivileged provinces must also step up and make sure that they take these opportunities. It must also again talks about addressing the social ills. At some point, the writing skills or the writing workshops or the festivals like this, literature festivals like this, how they are impacting in terms of social ills. For somebody that never thought he can be a writer, maybe Atsuba Nyaope, Alekai affected Gidesin, but just inspired by today's workshops and the possibility of writing a book, because somebody who wrote the book was here to actually guide him. And he started to say, oh, I can write something. And that actually speaks about addressing the social ills. Somebody can just be inspired from crime to what you call now a beneficial artist who can contribute to the social ills by just applying a skill. So as you think about your project, you must look into how you're going to incorporate those kind of keywords or key issues. Then again, supporting vulnerable groups. It's important again to, when you look into your project or your concept, how are you going to address the issue of the vulnerables? My sister, we buile ka batho ba le hore bana le bothata ba go sa utlwe le sa go sa bone. Again, maybe ba reng ga ba kgone go utlwa. How are you going to involve them? Which is a very serious issue as your project is inclusive. Because when they sit there, ba simula ba assess the project to fund. Keywords like this, they normally happens to be the priority. Or is it your project inclusive now? In terms of the writers you are targeting. And I don't want to say a lot on that one, but at the same time, we are talking about the new works and then digital arts. At some point, we don't have to be literally in the old times of our skills and the project or our industry. We need to move with the times. Now we're talking about live streaming. Now we're talking about DSPs, that's digital social platforms. That how are your project going to be or impact in those things? How are you going to work around it? We need to start to give a thought around it. And then at the same time, we're talking about capacity building, which I think obviously in any project, key target or key issue we are capacitating people, we are training people on how to can they be better in terms of writing proposals. That is capacity building, and it's easy in that way. But at the same time, there's a key word called entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot run away from being entrepreneurs of our own skills or our own talent. There's no way you're going to just be a writer of nothing. You need to be a writer of books, writer of music or whatever. So as the very same music must show the profits, the dividends and everything of your work that you do. That's why Honorable Ntateba self-publishing. They understood the part of writing. Now they are into the right of publishing, which is business aspect of the very same work they are doing. As a musician, you need to know that you can be a good studio producer, you can be a good vocalist, whatever. But at the same time, you must understand now, where is your work going to? How is your work going to benefit you? Which now we're talking about the DSPs, which is the digital systems platforms, which is your Spotify and all that. How are you going to make money? Even when you do that project, you give it a thought. And I know it's very difficult, it's not easy for most of the people. Like my leader was saying, maybe in a short space of time, we will have an online workshop with regard to proposal, really in-depth, really khaoganye, the objectives, how do we include these keywords, and then how do we go to the budget? The budget is a very serious aspect of it, including reporting. When you have received funding, how do you then report? How do you then use money? You need a project manager who will help you to say, if your project proposal was talking about 400,000, and now you are given 200,000, which means you are 200,000 short, then how do you work with that still? And then how do you make money when yourself? So we will teach you how to budget or rebudget, and after rebudgeting, how you then implement the project and saving the cost. Like you were saying, build a relationship with other stakeholders that you can save the cost. At the end of the day, you can also make money. You don't have to be hungry as an artist. It's a project till 10 in a year. So in short, I would like to say thank you very much on that point. Start from here, second, third, fourth, 5. Yeah, the 5th one. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dumelang Kgape. My name is Tirelo Ole Makgedisa. I'm an author of a book called Voices of Jesus Ancestors, quite a controversial book. So when I started the process of writing this book, I could not access anyone. Eventually I had the first edition and the second edition. That is where I went into traditional publishing. So you mentioned something about starting maybe a portal, maybe that's how I understood it, a portal where a government is going to start like its own publishing, because particularly as black people, it's a problem for us to get published. It's a problem for us to get into bookshops that sells. I was like you, I was one of the very few like people that ended up in exclusive books. However, what I wanted to find out is there a program or an intention from government and its government legs to try and intervene to resolve this problem, that there are young people, there are authors, there are people who really have the skill, but they are not being marketed. They cannot access traditional bookshops. They just have to go and sell in the streets. There's the only way where this thing can actually be, we can have programs that will empower our people after the publishing process has gone on. We have Mema Chilo Muzei, she has her own publishing company. We have Rose in Bloemfontein, we have Rose Francis. Rose Francis is doing quite well. However, these people are working independently. Is it possible for maybe a website or something where independent authors can go in and know where to go, what not to go? Because it's really a very tedious process for people who are aspiring authors to get into the market.
Madume, you are buang ke thato ya one mo epetsane, author of the Khansa Botshelo and article freelancer. Ke nagana gore proposal ya rona e shota ka problem statement. Problem statement whereby re tle go tlhalosa gore re batla go hitlhelelang ka proposal ya rona o tlile go tsenya why, when and what. Ke a leboga.
Hello. Nna ke na le a website called Shipa. So Shipa it's an e-commerce site for artists. Tsotlhe hela ka kakaretso, whether it's a music, whether o rekisa buka gore ba tle ba kgone go simolla go rekisa, but I never see any of the organizations tse ne di biditswe maabane tse e leng gore di a support such projects. How do we then go about finding, acquiring funding for such a project? Thank you.
Dumela, nna ke James Sesogelo gape. On the question of just adding on the value, I'm an author as well of Christian books and also motivational books. The one that I'm busy with now is called Where You Are Is Not Where You're Supposed to Be. There I encourage, especially this political heresy and Christian heresy that is going through our villages. Culture and tradition is fading off. Ubuntu concept, part of it, whereby we no longer know who we are, and even our children, they're just hanging somewhere. This type of events should also go local. Like Ramosadi, there's a concept I'm working on called #WeLoveRamosadi. You find villages like Boramosadi, they are based in the middle of two townships, for example, like Smarties and also the units. We are in the middle. We were found before them, but we're still a village. Why can't it become like a township? Why? Because our people are not really up to speed. People are jealous, people are selfish, people are no longer seeing each other as people who can grow. Ubuntu concept. That is fading. I would suggest next on Bokone Bupirima Lead First Festival, Focus Festival, they should at least focus on such villages. Thank you.
Dumelang Mokgetho, leina la ka ke Khuitswana Malope. My question would be, we are we have an upcoming MPO. It's called Mott's Arts Foundation. And as an upcoming MPO, I want to understand, I don't know if the question is relevant, but then Kebat assistant. How do we go about getting managers to mentor us and the right manner into where should we go, get assistance, information, the right doors to knock in order for us you understand? As a Khalakatan industry, so it's very important because this craft in us sometimes, yeah, so you find the workshop in Renalone, it's inspiring, but you get that there's this inspiring information, but then hakuna implementation in most of the time. You go there and then or submit, you don't get feedback, or maybe there's something wrong here and here. How about we fix a proposal in this manner? So I'm just saying, just try to reach out, the information irrelevant or where we want to and nurture the gift that's within us. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope it's your chance, leader, to respond to the questions.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Sorry, how was it in?
Sorry, Jabana, Ija.
Husiame ha hore se pentsala. Dumelang bagaetsho. Dumelang bagaetsho. Ga ke itse gore ke di writers forum tsa kae tse di fa. But ke tsaya gore the presentation of today e ka khona gore imolola ya ka lefapha because re na le di challenges tse dintsi in terms of the publishing of books. publishing of books, e tlhoka madi a mantsi. There are so many writers tse e leng goreng ra ba rupisa, ra ba ruta, they write, e be go nna le a backlog. Ba produce the manuscript, di atla. Some of them, they are even more than 5 to 7 years old. But because of inadequate funding, ga di kgone go publishiwa ka nako. So I think it's one of the things that the writers forums ba ka di dirang, as well as the publishing house, to request more funding from the different funders that have been here with us. Gore, iska na gore re lebella fela mo lefapheng, and then on the other hand lefapha le imetswe province e tona. So I think you chairpersons that are here, those that are not here, and le lona ba Bokone Bophirima Literature Focus Festival, ke kopa le thuseng when necessary these people to apply for funding. Ka gore lona already le setse le itse gore which button to press. So agree go ntse go buiwa fa gore it's one of the same people ba leng gore ba kry funding year in year out. So are ke re batho ba bangwe ba bantšhwa, because most of the writers they are kore ba lapile, kore ha o bua ka something like a writers festival or a workshop or whatever, when you call them ba lapile. Ha re itse gore ba re reng, because go bua nnete we don't have adequate funding. Madi a rona a shorta. Ke na le more than 10 years mo lefapheng, mara every year budget ya lefapha e ya ko tlase. So we tried to create what is called a publishing house to alleviate this problem, but still go santse go ntse go tlhaela. So ke kopa le direng jalo ba gaetsho le ga se le molaetsa o, and then le lona bo re Mokhutshwane le thuseng tota these other forums of writers gore ba tle ba kgone gore at least ba kgone go duelela editing, ba kgone go duelela publishing from any other publishing house, gore le publishing house ya rona le yone se ka ya imelwa thata, e thuse ba bangwe ba ba kgonang ba kgone go ithusa go dikhoneng tsa bone. Thank you.
Can we have the last one at the back, then Romeo, you can respond. What on the last one? As a belief. Yes.
Dumelang bagaetsho. Na leina la me ke Mpho. Mpho Mahura. I hope we understood sentate wa ntse a fetsang go se bua. Ke tla leka go nopola maoko a gagwe gape. A reng where you are is not where you're supposed to be. Na ke tshimolotse go kwala ke le ko secondary. I think I was doing grade 9, standard 9 or 10. Then my script was taken away from me. Isale setsero le gompieno ise ke se bone. My question is, how do you know that your proposal is not needed before you submit it?
Sorry, it's not
needed.
It's not needed.
Yes, before you submit it. How do you come to know about that process, that your proposal is not needed?
Okay, I think just to clarify. So you mean Uri, how do you know Uri proposal A may be successful? something like that.
Not successful, not needed. The question is not successful. The question is not needed. Because if you say it will not be successful, it's another issue.
Okay.
I hope you understand me.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Mara, you can still, if it's not, I do not get it, I think you can explain to it. So are we?
No, the last one here.
Okay.
Can we have the last one?
Madume, gape bagaetso. Ke Thamsanqa gape wa gana phakate. Batsadi ba ka nna ke bua yana ke le actor, ke le artist ya literature. Mo e leng gore ke dibuka tse tsa literature from grade 10, 11, 12. I do perform it le di artists tse ding some ba teng le no yana fa. So ke ne ke botsa a book of literature ga gona gore e ka re thusa mo e leng gore keng. Yes, but dibuka tsa ka di performela bana ba sekolo go reng ba di tlhaloganya botoka. Go na le bana ba le ba ile go keng ga ba matishere ba ruta ga ba tlhaloganya botoka ga re diragatsa. So ga gona gore literature e tla re fa gore gape re ye ko community gape re go bontsha le ba batlang ba runya ba gore dibuka tseno tse di tsamayang tota di ruta le yang. Ba re fe matlole le go re thusa le go re fa recognition eno because ke tla etsa example le ka re wa Ntlomole Mutla the writer of Ntlomole Mutla o teng no yana fanofa. How about mo sessioning engwe ga ba se go ke a lista se ka le suggestela mo dong sa lona. How about gore e be le dira so tshwana le seno se. Bukanyana e one e be e tseiwa e performiwa fale goreng batho ba gona gape ba nne le lerato leo gape la go ka bala dibuka. Ga ke se ka tlhalosega ba golo. Dango.
Yeah,
Ra leboha, ke kopa re arabeng di question.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah. I think thank you to all the speakers, the questions and the inputs. I think let's deal with the last three speakers' issues first because I think it's very important. Reality is that it's not good when something was in progress, honestly, you know, and. The reason I'm passionate about this thing in literature is also because we want progress and our the programs that are there, the government institutions or mostly South Africa that are promoting literature, except a library. And the library, it doesn't really promote literature. It's just an institution where they have books and they're not taking the books of everyone. So that's why I was saying these things that we've been using for the longest time, they have not been working. It's a reality. So we need to approach this in a different format. You know, he's right. The departments, they have a very limited budget. You've got so many authors, and unfortunately, departments in this thing called APP. I think some of the questions you will also add when I'm done.
Sure.
So, only the APPs, there are certain targets that a certain division must meet, which has got nothing to do with writers, and it must address very small issues. So we need to create an alternative channels and opportunities outside the department, but working with the department. I think the department has got a currency that we can use, which is in the form of support. Because you see, we need a lot of money to run the literature programs and to revive the literature and make sure that in early direction. The first thing that I suggest is re-approach a department at least to say, the programs are like I said, are really exhibition in the mall. Writers about the book because Avana market are create an alternative market here more the molo. So it means we keep partnership with department, the molo. So the trick, the good thing about this partnership that we're talking about is that all the authors will be selling their books called Imolo. They will have to get an exhibition fee, right? I can receive a certain fee, so maybe 5,000. Kia bono re ba kgone ba le tšhelete ya transport ya transport dibuka tsa bona and everything. So this thing is possible, but the department won't fund something like that. So which means hore is the responsibility ya rona partnership le bo Thapelo le bo Lerato and the department. Re to ya ra approach a lottery ke re bana le tšhelete, right? Okay, in terms of literature, yes, reborn this thing, or can you support the authors who've got, like, yeah, we need to work also with publishing houses, the local publishing houses. Because we had the publishing houses more provinces, they can't publish for free. Otherwise, they will die. So we identify those publishing houses that are there. We are then going to work with them, recreate a partnership. Our job is to get the resources. This, especially Lottery is the one that, at least if we meet with the provincial management, we address this issue to say, we want to create our own markets. Creating a market needs money, obviously. Then when we create the markets, we plug in people like you, my brother, because you guys, let's what we call arts in school or arts in the community. You take the books of the authors, you are doing what you call edutainment, right? So that is very important, because especially in terms of schooling as well, because you are very correct, there are many kids who are struggling with some books ko skolo. Either ke maths or ke English or ke Setswana. When you act them on stage or in the class or the school can invite you to practicalize the book. It will serve and understand them more, because the reality is that people understand things that they see and hear better than things that you just read. When they see the book that they are doing in school being acted by actors, we have created jobs for the actors, we're educating the kids on the side. I don't think they have a problem with having that, because they were at the school, they were doing something like that. They've got, on the 7th, right? They were having an arts in school program which was focused on reading and writing, storytelling and so on. So now that you are working with the team, then I'm sure they will involve you in the planning as well, so that these things, maybe you need to have a long-term process for these particular projects. So I think for me, in terms of the market, so that writers don't just write the book and then we are wasting time, we need to create that particular thing, because the market, it can work. So it's important to deal with that one. That on the issue of the, how do you know, or the proposal, how do you know that your proposal is not needed? I think Thapelo uda dilaka ona after, because I create very, very well. But I think out of this Bukoni Prima Literary Focus Festival, we need to come out with this thing here market. Let's try it and see if it's going to fail. There are renowned authors here. There can be a lot of programs alongside the market, yeah, the workshop, or where we go to all these different communities, like somebody was saying. Then you're going to have these authors also working, running projects left and right. Because I don't think one sort of thing works. We need to actually have build-ups. Like my brother was saying, Deori, why these things don't happen in other areas. That can also be a build-up. Before the main event, you have various activities, the workshop or the storytelling in different parts of the province, to make sure that the program Leona is more attended, because the build-up will also help us to bring people to this particular show. So going back to somebody, the online platform, yeah, okay. You were asking about the issue of access to the market, like your bookstore and what. Like I said, there's a lot of problems there, because they are run mostly by white people. They will restrict a lot of black people to access the market. So what we said yesterday was, it's important for us to create our own platform. It can be for Setswana writers or African writers. Then we need to persuade government, especially the National Library and the department, to say, Mara guys, you know we're not selling our books. We don't have platforms to sell our books. We want to establish something like this. You know, so somebody has to do it. Do you understand? So because it's true, people won't buy something they don't know. Imagine if we have the online platform and you have the markets in the mall, not just here, maybe Limpopo, Joburg, wherever for the writers. So already people who are buying books or checking the books or giving them pamphlets, or you can also buy on the online platform. Mara, it's something that we're also discussing to say, sometimes we can't wait for things to happen. We need to make them happen. Your question goes with somebody who said they've got an online platform. They do fund this thing, yeah, online platform. But the issue is that your NACs, they will give you 500,000. or maybe, okay, PESP is gonna open again. You can get even 1 million to do this online platform. But obviously, whatever they do online platforms as well, it needs a lot of resources because when you market this thing first, you're gonna have to spend a lot of money. So it's just about us bringing in the department and other stakeholders who can inject resources. But these things, if you look at them, they are connected one to the next. They connect to each other, so we can do all of these things concurrently. Yeah, so it's true, the proposal showing the problem statement. Yes, it's also important to write, why do you want to do this? When, I think when it goes with the timelines and why. So there's different ways a person can write a proposal, as much as there's a different ways a person can write a book. You know, so it also goes with what a person is applying for. But such things, they're very important. Yeah, as I said to, I think it's Tato, the website, my brother, you can be funded for that because now we are living in the digital space. We actually need those platforms so that people who've got content, they can plug in the platform. But you see, when it comes to literature, it's a very sophisticated environment because it will be difficult to just mix it with other things. Nothing, I personally feel it needs its own thing. You see, we can start with those online platforms. Who said we can't have shops in the malls? I mean, we're supposed to be then engaging government to say, okay, we can't go to exclusive stores. Maybe we're opening a certain shop in the mall, like you have Batu is in a couple of malls in the country. We just have to get funding. Then we open the shop where African writers can then be able to sell their books without going to beg white people. And when you go to these things I'm talking about, it means now when you sell your book, maybe we take 10% or 20%, not these many percentages that people are taking. And we also invest into publishing the content, because obviously the books will get finished. Marriage must be very transparent because there's greediness is the reality. People can be selling your books, they sold 10 when they sold 100. That's what's happening with the guys Babo exclusive, because you don't necessarily have access to how much books they're selling. But there's also the e-books online stores. I mean, I know that people are selling at Tech a lot, selling books. So some people they are selling their own books where they can. So with regard to the issue you raise of why can't people get money to publish and so on, you can apply for funding to publish for yourself. But like we said, with departments, it's very difficult for them to give you money. But the other thing that we need to understand is that, guys, we must differentiate ourselves as artists or as practitioners from people who work for the department. People who work for the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture or Education, they are there for their careers. They're not there for you. They don't care about you. I'm telling you the truth. They don't care about you. They are there for their career and their salaries and their kids and their families. It's just that they are put in a certain directorate that must support you. I think this thing of thinking people who work for the department get the artists. No, they are not artists. They are employed. They are applied. They are employed. There's like somebody who works for a private company or who works at game. They are there for their career. You know, so we need to create things ourselves. Let's take advantage of these fundings that are open. Then we go to that person who works with the department. Hey, I want a letter of recommendation. I've got this idea. How can you help us? They do have the money, but we need to create these initiatives because they are there because they are employed. They're working to retire and rest. So now we can't keep saying for 20 years they are making progress. What are we doing ourselves now to make sure there is progress? Rina from National, we will plug opportunities there and make sure that we bring them here. We'll engage with stakeholders where we have to. Because I also don't want to be part of things that don't have progress. Because we did another program, a literary festival in Limpopo, called Limpopo Literary Festival. It was a good success like this one. Then those writers, they were also saying, what now? What next after this? Are we going to wait for the other year? So, no, we're going to have these markets throughout. We're going to be creating the markets. They must be busy. Then we must hire them to do workshops in their communities. We are working on that as well. You know, because you can't just have something which is once off. On top of that, I have organized with the department in Limpopo to bring 22 authors. So I asked Lerato to send me to get me a quotation for sharing rooms here and lunch and dinner at least, which came to about 40,000. So you imagine what these officials, they called me, they're saying, no, Romeo, this is a good idea, you know, but we can only give you transport because we got a 22-seater in the department. I'm saying, okay, so who must accommodate these writers and who must buy food for them? I can't take people just because it's transport to Northwest. As much as they are writers, they want to network and what. You see, you have those problems that are there. Then they will tell you of the APP. It's not part of their APP. They don't have a budget. You see, those things are there, but that's what I'm saying. Well, sometimes let's access money where we can and make sure that we have progress in terms of our issues. In terms of the Mods Arts Foundation, my brother, when you have an NPO, as long as it's registered, the most important thing is to attend these workshops and also to network with people so that they can show you how things are done. But these days, even if you are going to lottery, they will need a SARS, a tax clearance. You need to apply for a tax clearance at SARS for your NPO, and it's going to need, it takes about 30 days because it goes with a tax exemption because it's an NPO. But me, I don't encourage people to register for NPO these days because there's just too much frustrations and stress. You know, first of all, you have got many people there. When you've got money there, people are fighting and everything. So there is an NPC, my brother, non-profit company. It's like an NPO. But you register that with only 3 people. It works like a company. You get your tax number immediately when you register it. You can also go that route. That one will make your life very easy. Because it comes with a, what called that constitution, that thing? It comes with that thing. The MOA. Ne? So, yeah. So I think we'll change numbers, you and me. I'll show you some of these things. So I think we're almost there. Yeah, I think that was that. So guys, I hope I answered the questions. Mara, as I've said, I'm not having solutions. People who are sitting here in this house, they've got solutions. Let's not wait for anybody. The government has money and many, many opportunities. Even for sitters, sitters have got a lot of money as well that they fund as an author. They can fund you to run workshops and they are paying you good money. Mara, you need to also do things like accreditations. But I think since we'll be working together, there's a lot that we're going to be able to discuss and show each other the way moving forward. But mine, I want to make sure before the end of this year we've approached the department. Maika Maiking has got a book market. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Okay.
Guys. I think that the Tapelo had to answer one question
Okay.
before we continue.
Sure. Ke kopa go e sobokanya fela ka pela. My brother, there's no such like a proposal ha e batliwe and all that. Ne? I shared something earlier when we need to start to teach ourselves in all the thought process, the concept that we think about, the processes, whatever, we need to start to align ourselves with what the government speaks about. So as your proposal is relevant all the time. Remember I talked about social ills, I talked about in everything that you think, include what the government is aligning itself, so as your proposal is always on point. Other than the technicalities, you just need to get an assistance to say, how do I break down my budget? How do I establish my problem statement? How do I establish my objectives so as it's aligned? Romeo unsitse the template, that's a form of everyone, and we will repeat an online proposal workshop in details to show you so you can take your own notes and make an example to help you. Then and then also as part of the own way forward, Literature Festival, we want to help also the authors, because the authors themselves, they are trapped in a situation they are working with publishers, whatever, and they're not even making money out of their works, whatever. The route is to bridge the gap between the authors, the challenge the authors are facing, the publishers, to a point, they become self-publishers in their rights so as they can start to maintain their rights. The music industry is changing currently. Most of the musicians now, they are owning their masters. They are making money directly. Authors must start to think that way. And then again, in terms of supporting also the authors that we have today, especially the issue at the Setworks, there are books that are from one of our authors here. We're going to establish a forum where the very same authors whose books are on syllabus here, we bring them together. We also help them to say, okay, give us the rights to do your books as Setworks. But part of how you're going to benefit is that as much as we're going to the schools, we will then engage with you to go with us, go to Kolo, sell your book directly to the schools at some point. When you present your book and say to the school principal or the teachers, this is my book, whatever, here's the team performing my book, we can support your learners. You will definitely find a very serious change of approach. You can sell your book directly as an author, and then we're complementing it with what you call a Setwork performance, which you have the rights to can do that freely, so if not freely so, but there's a way that they're also going to benefit. We are trying to cut the middleman. We are not doing that totally, but we are trying to shift the benefit of a benefit, yeah, the writers going forward. So as with their books, they are creating indirectly employment for you as a performer. You might not be a writer, but you are then employed by the author who authored the book and give you the permission to do so. But the self-publishers like Sam, our colleague Sam, they are willing to share with us that process. It's part of what we're going to do. But Department of Arts and Culture, their role is to actually support these initiatives. But if we cannot come together, we will always miss the point. In terms of their KPIs, whatever, they need to make sure that Habayadi strategic plans, we are part of their strategic planning to share with them to say, this is the need on the ground, not what you think it is a need. Artists are not employed, artists are suffering, they are not benefiting. How can we come up with a turnaround strategy? If the need costs us 50 million, let it be. And then they must see to it how then they get the budget for 50 million. If not, Basna 50 million, then we can say, refer 10 million, then now we know where to get another 10 million to make sure that we mitigate the challenge that we are facing. And then we'll have the processes of how then we procure that and assist each other. It's just an eye-opener to them to say, don't plan alone, plan with us. So thank you very much on that one.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Ke kopa re phapateleng gape South African Arts and Culture Youth Forum Chairperson Ntate Romeo. Kopa re bofeng letsogo. Ka nnete, that was a good workshop on proposal writing, and I believe gore re kreile all the points that we need go ngwala di proposal. Ke kopa re gopole gape gore we are live on Facebook, are sharing. This is information that we should not keep to ourselves. Let us share with those who are at home. Lelona, our viewers at home, please share and like. And Jim Waketsi mo Facebook are wow. Shopping James say Togelo are very great ideas. So Raleboha Hore. We've been engaging and rebuile and we learned a lot. So before we move on to our next item, ke kopa re gopole hape gore Bokoni Bophirima Literature Focus Festival ina le stakeholders or ina le di partners. Our founder Lerato Mileng from Bakwadi, Rato Million, Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, National Arts Council, National Lottery Commission, National Heritage Council, National Film and Video Foundation, and yeah, so Kibona, but Le Mabana Arts and Sports Foundation. We are here because of them. They made it possible. So, Baholo Retlongwala an evaluation, Honalidi evaluation form Teddy Klotlang Molona from Department of Sports, Arts and Culture regarding this first workshop in Terenaliona, ya proposal writing. So, ke kopa re tlatseng, and just we want feedback about how you found the workshop. Did it help you? What did you learn? As a pampiri etel is just a one pager. So the pampiri di totla molona kopa re di tlatseng, and at the end re kgone gore re fe the right people ba go department ya rona. Okay, so gone yaanong we are moving on to our next item. Literature has 3 categories, which is prose, poetry, and drama. So, drama or storytelling. Now we are going to experience another form of literature, which is poetry. And as he ascends on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Rolelamo Ki.
Ke o testa jang jaaka re o testa ko lenyalong a kre gatte ga o testa ko lenyalong la ex ya ga go gona le dio tse o di dirang o nya wa bereka ga ke go testa jalo ba ga tshware dumeleng yo buang ke go itsione Seshuane ka leina la tsalo me ka la serala ke rolela mmotsi ke mosimane wa motlhaping hela ha morago nyana ha madibogo rolela mmotsi aka Dr. Mokeneki ke mosidilo wa maikutlo ga o ka kwa ikotla ga o ka kwa tlhabiwa ke ditlhong go tsana kwa ga go a bo mo lebelela on kreya jalo mo all social media platforms ka lone leina leo la rolela mmotsi ke moradisi I'm an actor ya theater ke modiragatsi tota ke rata Setswana ga ke diragatse maleme a mangwe ke rata Setswana le ga o ka tla ka leleme le lengwe wa re ke 20,000 teng ya ka maswabi sori re tshelela hela kgodiso ya Setswana ba gaetso re busa serodumo sa Setswana jaaka ke tsa gore ke mengwe ya mono ya Bokone Bophirima Lead Focus Festival ke go godisa le go busa serodumo sa Setswana ka re ga re tswela ko mahatsing a ko ntle ko ile gore ke batho ba ile gore ke maAfrika ba ka kgona go utlwa leleme la gaetso ra ikobonya re le mo lehatsing la gaetso re ntse ra ikobonya go bua Setswana sa rona ga re itse gore a go bua temetse dingwe ke go supa thuto ga o bua Setswana ka re ga wa rutega a re boeleng ka kwano a re siamera nna ke tla utlwala ka wena Modimon tetla ke kgaleme ka bogale ke kgalomedi la lomeki tse di re bolaelang bana le basadi ka re kana mosadi mmele ga setšhaba go mmolaeng wa bo senyeletsa ka re nka tlogang ke tla kero le ka tlhamme ke sa rwala mathata mme go bone monna mošiphi wa mosadi tota gone nka tlhatsa ka re tota ke tla kera letse dinoka le dinokana ke tla kera letse melapole melatswana ke tla ke utlwile botlhoko ke tla ke utlwa lelo sa ngwana ke utlwa lelo sa losia lelo setlhomolang pelo lelo sa ngwana ipotsa gore tota ke dirileng utlwa re mmolai wa ga mme o ikutlwa jang ke sena seo ke se jang o ikutlwa jang o ntsetse yo ntsetseng ka salela tshotlhego lehatsing ke saletse bosiela botshelong a re ngwageng tsa tshelo jwa me ke itse tlhoko jwa go tlhoka motsadi go go bona mmeleng ke ipotsa lehatsing ke le rileng a re kgaotsa
mola ikgao a re o mo ibitsa rre Selalome ko wena kganti o ledimo o ledimo o tla o itlhola nyaka mme phokotse mo tlalong la a re tota go go bona ke iphele ke re o ka ntlhokomelela mosadi gone jaanong ko wena wa mosotlhakakang ko wena o mpolaetseng mosadi gone jaanong ke ja mo mmileng ke robala mo mmileng tshotlhego ke leina lase a re tota o setlhogo botlhogo jalo ga e setlhogo mokwepa e kgonang go goloma o sa e bone ga o tsa mmolai ga o tsa lehatshe ga lena molai ga o tsa mmolai wena se gakulodi sa gago se kae botho jwa gago bokae a re kana maloba ga o ne o bona mme tota o ne o mo reta o ne o mo tshepisa lerato o mo tshepisa dilo tsotlhe tsa lehatshe o mo tshepisa tshireletso ka re ne o mo leba o ne o mmitsa tshepistuwa majana le diameso mphatlhalatsane ngwana wa thupa tsa maretwa o ntse o mo reta gore ke mosetsana wa montle o ka re losaka lo sena botshotelo o marama gama e ka re pelo a legapo mo mometsa e ka tonka timoga lenyoro a re gompieno ko wena o itirileng Selalome gompieno ko wena o itirileng tau gompieno ko wena o itirile motho wa mosotlhakakang tota banna lo latlhegile kae banna lo sentse kae botshelong ka maloba ga le banna e le bone ba tlhokomelang basadi mme gompieno monna ke mmolai wa mosadi ka re tsamang le go ikgalema dilalome tsamang le go ikgalema lo ikgabelo ke ditlhong tota ebile a tlere re dutse lo ipakelong tse lo re nna ke a keteka golomo ga go kae bokao golomo go ka bolalomela o so se sele ga mme e le gore ba go lobela kana mme kgankgolo ke gore re lebetse ko re tswang teng kgankgolo ke gore le ga re bona papetana re palelwa ke go e buisa kgankgolo ke gore ga o ka lebala ko o tswang teng o tla itse jang ko o yang teng ba re buisa motswana wa etsho o tla bona se o se dirang ga sa siama o tla itse jang o sa se gore se o se dirang tota ga sa siama ka re batswana re boemre o ipatha motlhala batswana re boemre o itse ko re yang teng yo ntse a bua ba ga etsho ke rolelang moke mosimane wa motlhaping wa gapore o tswana motho wa ga maura semetseng ba re tlhapitswa metseng ba re tlhapitswa metseng o nkala e magalapa loemelamelo matarela a magala ke lebogile ba gaetsho
No man, Setswana se monate. Hey! Yeah, no Setswana se monate. Audrey, ra go bona. I'm in the crowd though. I like the setup, the discussions, and hopefully the outcome will be great. Great initiative. Actually, halala. Yeah, no, we are live. Let us share. Re leboga feedback, re leboga di comment, re leboga bari. Banna ke bona ba re bolayang a otlhe bathong a otlhe nna la mpona ka tjeko ka very green ne chairperson o itse we must make money so I am channeling it yeah now they say I'm making money yes hey tshwantse o channel we tshepe man so re na le announcement from the National Library bari ba tlo tsamaya ba kopa letlo tsa dibuka tsa Setswana before ba tsamaya so ne ke re while we are setting up for our next workshop ke kopa fela 2 minutes a re ska tsang sebaka le tsa buka la boa a ke re ne ke kopa mmino nyana fela go ba hyper up while they still doing it.
ke morate a se monna ke dišaše o palelwa ke sapote a ke morate
a tladia ka gabare ante dirile jang mampai dirile jang na dirile jang nyatsie a se monna na ke morate ke rate bodishashe monane ke morate tinto ke tinto dishashe ke morate utuyo tinto tinto ke monawe ajorate tinto ajorate mona ajorate orama wana uloto ratana tetama ele awanyala maitawlela rapalo selo mona ratana tetama iketimo asimuna aitawlela
je o palelwa ke sapote a ke morate a se monna ke dišaše o palelwa ke sapote a ke morate
tinto mapai ailetse le takala kolomo a se motho go madima se sanyane batho ba mohutao a ba phailebe
ralešane rampetwane motho yo ke dišaše rangwangwai ralešane rampetwane motho yo ke dišaše rangwangwai
ma moite bang arma moite tiene caraje mala le pelo hanu chupe la we corota paisa aga karite paie ma porite karintie le caraje mala we
asemun
frantie la
mutisha
wo tarlo sancha
a ke morate
asimtenna
dišaše o palelwa ke sapote a ke morate
monawe porogoto ba mona tinto nyatsia ga mamphai so seo motlapa so seo ke masepa mona wa nkutlwa so seo masepa o nna fela a dire sepe re mo jesetsa lelapa na ke morate ya labo bogale mosadi o a ikategile tinto ke tinto selo se
ke dišaše rangwangwai
motho yo tinto
rampetwane
ke morao
ke dišaše rangwangwai
tinto a ke go rate tinto mare ke go rate na ke go rate ke go rate a ke go rate na ke go rate ke go rate na ke go rate ke go rate mampai ta monna
ke dišaše o palelwa ke sapote a ke morate a se monna ke dišaše o palelwa ke sapote a ke morate
ke go rate mona ke go rate
bagolo ba ba tshwereng dibuka kopa re bueng. Re na le an hour before motlakase o tsamaya kopa re pusheng. Bagolo dibuka di fedile. Heo sa tshwara buka a ske setlhek. Ke kopa re boeleng ka mogare re fetseng program ya rona. The last session for the day. The last session for the festival. Last push, are boeleng ka mogare bagolo. Wa itse ho dutse ko morago kwa camera ya go bone a re go bone. Yana ke kopa re sutelle mo pelenyana bagolo a re sutelle mo pele mo lighting. Let us be in the light. Okay, bagolo, because of nako, let us just go into our program. Ke le butsa ka tse ko nna ke machelete le mpitse money. Yes, I'm giving away money right now. Ke tlo bitsa me puleng atle a tlo re fa rena le voucher mabane re file voucher ya 250,000 ya go Pick and Pay. Today re fire 500 rands. Yes. A ke tsore ke mangotlo e kreyang me puleng ko pa mo phapatele matsogo motho o tshwereng tšhelete le mo phapatela matsogo thata 500 ke grocery ba golo ke di toiletry ke madi a mafase re a leboga.
Dumelang bagolo le kae re teng ke utlwa mpitsa mme puleng nya wa ntsofatsa ba I no what so fast I so believe thank you ke a leboga bagolo ha le gopola ya kantse MC ya rona bua gore re neelane ka madi a kere mo tsatsing le fitileng le gape gompieno re dira fela yalo re neelana ka voucher e ka nnang up to 500 rands ya ko Pick and Pay. So the winner will be judged based by the hand claps tsa lona, right? So I'm just going to ask a question. If you were here from day one, by the show of hands, who was here on day one? Okay. Eric is like the Osua people. You? Yes. Emma Gamoto. Kopane mo fe Mikey.
Solanka Mike o tla mo go wena, potso ke e gore, a o ka re neela in short, gore what transpired on Thursday, on Friday, le today, sa lo dutse fo.
All right. On Thursday, what transpired was we got to learn about, we had people who came here, who came to tell us about things they do, go library. We had a guy called Lebogang who was coming from Library for the Blind, who came to tell us about his services and what they offer go library for the blind. And we also got to like go to his store and re bone gore ba na le di-accessories tse feng tse e leng gore ba di dirisa for people for ba e leng gore like they are blind. And then yesterday, one of the most things that I picked up, which is why I was here, we had a presentation on ya panel ya mane ba bua ka in terms of like how do we get funding from different centers like Department Arts Council, le national lotteries, how do we go about it, and the reasons why we normally get rejected on the fundings that we normally get. And then today, which is also the reason why I was here, we got to learn about on how to do a proposal. One of the major things that I think that so many of us were not getting right, it was writing objectives and a mission. Would normally mix that up or kind of like make it the same thing.
All right, thank you so much. Kopa le mo pele matsogo. Re kopa our second candidate. Ka matsogo, show of hands. Kopa go bona if o no le teng from day one. Emisa letsogo ke tle ke go shupe ke re you. All right, Ausi, a re utlwe from wena. What did you learn from Thursday, Friday, and this morning?
What did I learn?
Yes, go diragetseng ka boripana.
Okay.
Yes.
We learned, like she said.
Hey, not she said.
Okay.
What are you saying?
Okay.
Hey.
I learned from Mr. Chauke, who's from the deaf community.
Okay.
And like the gesture, and like how to communicate from like the sign language part of things from day one. And the blind people, how they communicate. We had a performance by Osma Usi and
Kana, when did that happen? Today, ne?
Ka day one. I'm speaking ka day one.
Oh, okay. Na ke re today. Okay.
Ya peo ya Setswana, a book like relaunch ya buka. And then from day two, which is yesterday, day one, we also had like a master workshop, master class, yes. And then yesterday, and then what else? Oh, we had like a workshop.
Okay.
About writing in Setswana.
Workshop, ne?
Yeah.
Basically about and how to write and get help to sell their books. We had a nice performance, by the way, from Ma'ausi, you know, was
Okay.
that was very beautiful.
Okay.
And on the second day, we had a panel from different institutions like Lotari, Bakwadi, arts and culture and sports.
Yes.
And then they gave us the information artistic shorter. They were giving us the platform ya gore re interact le bone gore ba khone go itse bothata ba rena le bone ba re fe di platform tse di right, where to go about. And the
Kana ke neng ke Mabane ne?
yeah, ke Mabane.
Okay.
And the third day, which is today, which was that was my like the reason why I came here. There were 2 sessions, one Tlhaloganya.
Okay.
So I came here specifically for the master class. we were, I don't know how should I put it. We were, okay, we won the festival cultural calabash ya Taung. We got nominated for best actor and we got position 1 from that.
Yeah.
And then the main purpose of today was to get info and learn on how about to go to prepare a proper proposal. What we need to have or draft se tsamaisane le se government ya rona e se godisang, because there are changes each and every year. What phrases we must accommodate ourselves with, because
Yeah.
90% of the time ka re failiswa ke dilonyana tse dinnyane, di proposal tsa rona di sa acceptiwe. And last and not least, to learn and to share information as an individual, because I'm an artist. So the purpose of the day today, it was very inspiring. And as an individual, just to spread the word out, to share with other actors, musicians, baba kwalang, baba sa kgonang go tla. I
Yes.
thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, my guy. Thank you so much. Moshapele matsogo a somple. O itse ha motho a imaketa wa mutla. Go o na le go tsenya rajanyana, a tsenya 6 gunnyana. Aha, ka sore style so. All right. Ha ile gore le tsamale my sister ka fa kopo emele ba go bone gape. Kopa le mo peleng matsogo. Ha ile gore le batla a wine 500 eo. Okay. My sister Kafa, kopo eme matsogo boemele ba go bone. Matsogo a lona a teka mal. For my brother Kafa a re utlwe. I don't know, is it me or is it a tie? It's a tie, right? It's not. It's a tie. Okay. So, Eric Elifempotso, A1, ne? Eric Sumule, Mike, okay. All right. Eric Sumulega, my sister here. Give me, let's see, Eric Said Hatafat. Give me 1 panel member on Additive. Lina Lesefan. Yo. I only remember the surname, Yaha Mr. Chabalala from Department of Arts and Culture. Okay. Ona bua ka eng? Mr. Chabalala, one abua ka gore ko Department ya Arts and Culture, how do they fund people? Le gore baba funda yang? Le gore gare apply la ko departmenting. Gona le dilo tse leng gore the little mistakes that we make mo di proposaling ebe re rejectiwa. So every time ha re tshwantse re apply le ko departmenting una re encourage gore we should always re ba phonele, re ba emailele, ask questions whenever we don't understand how call it tswile. And then they also encourage us gore how call it is or ska ra emela go apply ka di last minute. We should apply in time so that ba re khone go bankanya dio tsa rona le gore ha re apply le in time re itse gore ba khona go ha re apply ka di last minutes ha ba need time. It means gore bana le nako ya gore ba ye through our proposals. Okay. Moshapele matsogo. My brother, the founder le motho eleng gore o dirile gore everything se se diragala mo se nne possible. Ke kopa leina la gagwe.
Kitsi Lerato. Os Lerato.
Us Lerato ke mo mang? Lerato mang?
I forgot the name, I don't want to lie.
Ish, my brother.
Yeah.
Ish.
Ish.
You forgot the same name in fetu tlile mo eventing. Ona emiha, ai tlhalosa gore ke mang. Okay, a re ire so.
Okay.
By the show of claps, gape by the sound of claps, I'm just gonna make it final. Ha ke sa botsa dipotso tse di ngata, ne? For my sister, kopa le tle peng la bofelo. Sharp. For my brother, kopa le tle peng la bofelo. Alo la la ropa man. Hey, roping business in famous. But in all fairness,
Aba ye Pick n Pay bali too.
Pick n Pay bali too. Should they share? Sharing is caring. Can I do that, my MC? Sharing is caring. Congratulations to both of you.
Danko, thank you.
Are papateleng puleng matsogo, Ospuleng. Thank you so much. Tumiko Peka, it's great to see my home province having a literature festival. First time hearing about it. Good work, fellas. Ari papatele matsogo. Bokoni Bupirima Literature Focus Festival. Okay, the last session of the day, the last session of the festival in these 3 days. Ria koyona bagolo. What a wonderful 3 days. Renalo workshop ya mafelo ya publishing and distribution. Ke something se batho ba ntse ba botsisa ka sona re he ke fetso wala buka, then what? Where do I publish? How do I distribute my work? And in the Kavariwa from day 1 until today, but today we will a workshop on how to do it. And our facilitator ke Ntate Sam, ke kopa re mo fe re mo opele matsogo as he ascends the stage. He is an author himself and a publisher, and yaka re utlwile chairperson are ke motho le horeng le ena dilo tsa di funding wa di excel, so o tla re botse hore ena o kgonne yang. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Eish bang kwalletse.
Nkogatsi.
Nkwagatsi. Eish, handwriting as ke se bagolo, that's why ke sa e bua. Thank you very much.
All right. Dumelang ka moka. Yeah, sifane ke Nkogatsi ne. So lina la ka ke nna Sam Dipeilwane Nkogatsi. Jwa kua Limpopo kua. Right, let me take this moment and ke leboge. Thank you so much. Before I continue, ne, kopa le petele matsogo. Please. You guys are amazing. I don't want to lie. You are truly amazing. And somebody will be asking, why is it this auditorium not full? Why? Why there is a gap there? Why there is a gap there? Just because it's not Soweto Derby. It's not Chiefs Pirate. It can't be filled. No. Like, let us be practical and be fair. If they were saying there is a Soweto Derby that's going to take place Mahikeng on this venue, believe you me. But then just because of we're talking about literature, something that people don't take it much far to their attention, would be like, nah, I won't be there. Topic for another day. Thank you so much. Like I said, today we will like self-publishing. I've heard about money. So we want to make money everywhere we go. So I'm gonna be very short because majority of the aspects body touch teacher. So like I said, I'm gonna be looking much into self-publishing, right? Is there any other self-published writers in this house? Do we have them? Do we have people by long they have self-published the book at Sabon? Self-publishers? Do you also have people by long they still want to write, like they still need to see their words in print? Do we have them? Oh, that's good. Do we have self-publishers as well? Or do we have publishers in this house? publishers? Do we have them in this house? Okay, awesome. I just quickly wish to make a disclaimer that I'm going to be very mindful to all the writers that are here, to all the publishers that are here as well, distributors, funders, everybody making a literature to be possible. I'm not here to sound perfect. I'm not here to change your methodology of doing things. I know they work for you. In your own space, you're doing a very amazing job. I know it's not easy. More especially emerging writers, because this is what I do. By the way, I'm running a publishing company. We're based in Pretoria called Semco Books. I've been in this business for over 10 years. It's very hard, I know. So we have managed to publish over 400 books. Even though it was not easy, I can tell you. Myself alone, I have managed to publish 4 books, which I'm still going strong. Very, very strong. And I'm a self-publisher. The reason why I choose self-publishing is because we know, man, traditional publishing is very hard. Huh? It is very hard. And traditional publishing, I'm not opposing it. I'm not saying people should not go for that route. But then remember, most of the writers today, as we are currently speaking, some of them, they no longer want to write books because of traditional publishing. Hmm? I'm one of them, but then luckily, I knew what I wanted from day one. I've been rejected by so many publishers. Telling you, and Sam, your writing doesn't meet our standard. And Sam, just go and push through your craft. You know, stuff like that. At that time, you are communicating or you are speaking to a writer that is from places like Mahike. Do you see where the balance comes from? You can want to tell me about the writing standard, whereas that I don't even know how to construct well a weight. But then you want me to be perfect? So that is when the time we want to talk about self-publishing. Are we on the same page? So self-publishing, in my office, we call it author money. Publishing, without going through into these details. Because remember, when we make difference between the traditional publishing and the self-publishing is that if you are a traditional publisher, this means all the costs that are involved within the book. To be a book like this, as an example, this means each and everything on this book, you as a traditional publisher, you need to make sure that financially you are the one who's taken care of, right? You're the one who's going to pay for an editor, to pay for a content designer, to pay for printing, all those things. This means all the risk is within you. You as a writer back at home, you just only get there to get money, only if there is an agreement on table, right? Tables are turning now. We talk about self-publishing. You are the publisher yourself. Okay? This means you are carrying all the responsibilities. That is where the stress is sits deep down. And I want to tell you something. You know, there is this say that people are saying, self-published authors are, you know, their books are poor. Have you ever heard about that? Even a mere bookshop, they will tell you that we are not taking books by self-published authors. But then now, what we are going to do, or what we are doing, is that we are fading that. That is the reason why we are here. I want to make sure that when you are leaving this door, you no longer think the same of saying self-published books, nonsense. Sorry to use the word. Because yes, they say so. They're saying, man, self-published books are nonsense. They are not properly edited. They are not properly printed. There's a lot of things that are going within self-publishing. But let me tell you one thing. Self-publishing is a way to go. Self-publishing is a way to go. The advantage of self-publishing is that you are gaining knowledge yourself. Practical example. We're talking about ISB number. And you're talking to Sam, who don't know what ISB number is. What's going to happen? Sam will learn. Sam will know what ISB number is. Sam will know when we are talking about a content design, what are we talking about? Sam will know when we are talking about a graphic designer, what are we talking about? Because remember, there's a difference between a graphic designer for the posters that we have for the events, right? And there's also a graphic designer that do covers of a book like this. Do you get the point? So that alone, do not be ashamed, please. To whoever that self-publish their books, do not feel ashamed. And to those who want to take the route of self-publishing, also, don't be ashamed. Right. So now, I want us to look into self-publishing. Like I pointed some of the pointers that one have to know. Right? Let me put this scenario. There are publishers, by Benghore, we call them self-publishers like us. Right? Our duty is to give you an attention. Mind you, at that time, I'm from Limpopo on the rural area of Zebediela, Kudinamuni. There is no library. There is no internet. There is literally nothing. I can send you an email today. You might find it after 2 to 3 days due to network. So now, some has got a manuscript that they have written, that they want to publish. But some don't have a knowledge. You can tell some about internet. They know nothing about that. So now, that is when we have what you call self-publishers. Their duty is to make sure that we give you an attention. We sit down with you. You tell us, what is it that you want to do with your book? And the good thing about that is that we're going to give you an attention. Remember, traditional publishers don't even do what we are doing. They will tell you, can you write me an email? You don't know anything about writing an email. They will tell you about you writing a proposal. But up to so far, some of us, we know again how to write a proposal. So I want you to know that self-publishing is not wrong like other people saying it is. It is not. So now, the self-publisher, their duties is for them to carry you over. If maybe, let's say, you say you've got a manuscript that you've written there, and then now you need to publish the book. And maybe you have got the budget, a particular budget that you have, that you want to spend on the book. Then the publisher, it is the one to make sure that they get you a professional editor, they get you a professional cover designer, they get you a credible printer, because not every printer can print the book. They will get you the professional content designer, you know, all people for them to put through on making sure that the book comes alive. Are we still together? Yes. Now, if you decide to do that on your own, still it's fine. It's not a publish my book into life. Are we clear? Remember, we talk about self-publishing, whereby you are your own boss. It's more like you are running a company and you are the CEO of that company. You hire people in the company. Same as the book to be in life like this, you need to take all the responsibilities. Practically, you've got a script back at home. You want to publish that script. Now, what to do? That is when the time you can either find a freelance, an editor to assist you, or you can have a self-publisher to assist you, right? And the most important part, please do have agreements in place. Do not take your manuscript and give it to some, and then fold your arms and say, it's gonna rain. There must be an agreement that is on table. Quick thing that I want to fade to all the writers is that no publisher can steal your work. No publisher can steal your work. I hear a lot of people are skeptical. Ah, man, Sam, if I can give you my work, will you not steal it? No. I won't steal your work. Nobody will steal your work. And that alone killed a lot of writers to say, I don't want to publish my book. What if they steal my work? You see, now self-publishing is all about taking chances. Then you start that route and take a chance. Now, another thing as well that you should also look into is to know the book role players. I've spoken about the book role players because you cannot want to publish the book without knowing who does what on this book. You need to know the role players. Man does this for how long? And reality check, please, reality check. Publishing a book, it takes time. Ne? Publishing a book, it takes time. I'm working with a lot of writers, different of them. And a person will be like, Marasem, you've got a month. When is my book coming out? When we talk about a book itself, hey, we talk about a long or a lengthy of a time. Unless if you want to get the book like Bona Matebas. Do you still remember that saga? Do you still remember that saga? Unless if you want your book to be like that. I mean, it's public. I get. It's not like Kibulala and Twelongo is not there. Unless if your book, it's on Bona Mateba. Then that is when the time you're going to say, I need my book to be done within 30 days. Yeah, that can be done. It's not a problem. But remember, the result that you're going to get on the book is not that the result you're going to enjoy. Right? So while we still talk about book role players, the biggest mistake that most of the self-published or self-publishing authors that are doing, not your English teacher can be your editor. Or not your language teacher at school, can be in primary, can be in high school. As far as banally a degree of teaching that best language in school, that does not mean that they can be your editor. Please. Are you tlogeleeng that thing? When you want to take a self-publishing route, you need to be robust. That's point number one. And then point number two, you must be willing to spend. We talk about a professional book here. A professional book. You don't want to see a research take on social media because I know some of us will just be posting about your book and making a lot of jokes. We don't want that. And that will happen only if you know the book role players. I could go team, go soccer team. Renale a technical team, Renale a referee, we've got a coach, we've got players, we've got, you name them. And you know, oh, Mergo get this one, oh, Mergo get this one. Same as with the books, it works like that. The knowledge that I'm instilling to you, it is when you want to be a self-publisher and control all the copyrights. Resali sharp. Right. Other thing as well that you should know as a writer are the publishing phases. Now you say, I want to publish my book yourself. Then it is very much important to know all the phases because all the phases interconnect with each other. You cannot want to write the manuscript or type it into the computer, the next day you say, no, I'm printing a book. Right? You cannot wake up in the morning and say, I'm writing a book. Because another mistake that we are doing as a lot of writers, especially the emerging ones, we should also differentiate between a manuscript and a book. The minute you put pen and put the words down, that is the manuscript. Print house will offer that manuscript for them to print it out. The product that you get there is a book. Then now it's very important for you to understand all the phases. First phase, you've written the manuscript yourself. Then you need to find an editor. And another mistake that we should avoid is that no matter how professional you are, you cannot edit yourself. You can't. You can't be a student, the next thing when you go by your own teacher. You can't do that, okay? So you write a manuscript, take that manuscript to a professional editor, okay? These are the phases. Mind you, on editing, we've got different phases. One, developmental editing. That is where we're gonna fight with you most of the time, not physically, but then I know people when coming to critics, we are not taking critics very, very well, again. So, the duty of a developmental editor is to develop the plot of that manuscript. If maybe you've written, for example, a story about a man in Mahikeng. Does it make sense? Then, before that, we've got a proofreader. Very important. Very important. Most books are not proofread. Majority of the books are not proofread. Duty of a proofreader is to make sure that developmental editor, fine, the line editor is, it's a third eye to make sure that when we take the book to printing, we're not gonna even have that typo. Let me give you an example. Bible. Typo that Bible ever since you were born yourself. A typo in a Bible. Have you seen it? Whereby supposed to be a full stop and then a full stop lie. Okay, maybe not the Bibles that I've read. Okay. But then as born, we need a writing, a book that is clean. No, let me give you an example, a fly. Inchi. I don't know what you call it, ne? Are you aware that inchi it's as healthy as nut? Inchi is healthy. Inchi ana malaria. Okay, it's a research, go and do it. I'm not gonna go deeper into that. Fine, sharp. Cover of the book. One other thing as well that we should also avoid, please, writers, I know you want to save costs. There are a lot of online programs that you are using, the likes of Canva, for example. And go Canva, there are some templates. Templates they are free. Imagine Nasem, I've used Canva to edit my book. I mean to design my book. Pete has designed the book using Canva. Boom, have you seen that thing? So, as a writer, you cannot do almost everything. Fortunately, some of us can do. I mean, I can edit, I can design, but I cannot do other things, right? You need to delegate. Remember, you said you want to be your own boss, Akir. But then the fact of you using Canva, just because you want to save costs, the pictures now when you print the book, they are blurry. Book are blurry, like it somehow or you get the point. But then please, when you want your book to be as professional as you are, go for professional people. Go for professional people so that you work for as many years as you can without any critics. Critics should always be there. But some of them are really critics. Some of them it's a kaboom. So we don't want that. You get a graphic designer to design the book according to the content. Then after that, that's when the time you're going to get a content designer, if that graphic designer is not the same as the person that is doing the content, right? The duty of a content designer is to make sure that your paragraph book is not like the home. Because you might find some other books, paragraph, this one is going to east, this one is going to west. ka maletara a mangwe a mannyane so. Someone o kara a ngwetse a book ka maletara a mangwe a makima. You know why? They want to buy pages. Writers, you are doing that. Somebody wants to use size 13 on, what's this one? Maybe let's say Palatino linotype of your Garamond. It's good, you can use it. You've got the likes of your Times New Roman, it's fine, you can use it. Those are the things for you to be mindful of. But then when you get a content designer, they're gonna advise you to say, when we are doing the paragraphing of this book, you are writing a book about, maybe say, it's a poetry. Poetry, most people when they buy poetry or when they read poetry, they look into the content. They look into manju. I get poetry, it's all about emotions. So there's some other fonts that we cannot use on poetry, the likes of, for example, Arial. There is a font called Mr. Gabe. I don't know, you know Mr. Gabe? Do you know Mr. Gabe, sis? Do you know Mr. Gabe? Sorry? Okay. So Mr. Gabe is this kind of font, an italic of some sort. Those are kind of fonts that we use for poetry. Books, Chavana, you know, you cannot use size 10 and say, this is the font that Vana can read. You know that Vana, they need bold statements or bold letters or bold words. Those are the things to be mindful of. Content designer. Then now, you're going to get yourself an ISB number. They've spoken about it from legal deposit. I'm not going to go deeper into that. You get that for your book. And also, it goes all in hand together with the barcode of the book. One other thing as well that writers please be mindful of, there are sites where you can source your barcode. Because I've seen a lot of barcodes. Some just hook up in the morning, maybe ruler or whatever that can use to do the lines. And then keep barcode. And when people come back and say, Amarasem, this year, and then wakwata. A barcode, you know? I'm not sure if you can be able to see this one. You make a hole, but it's fine. Let me give you the source. That's where you can, in most cases, we use it to get barcodes online. I think it's called Bookway. Do you know it? I forgot it's that website. Very credible. That's where you can download your thing, your barcodes. And the good thing is that when you download that barcode, it comes automatically attached with your ISB number on it. Resale sharp. So right, moving into another phases, now that you've got an editor, the book is edited, now you've got proofread, the cover is ready now, the book is being designed, contenty, you attached your ISB number, same as the barcode on the book. This means now, you need to take the book for printing. And please, when you take the book to printing, do not go and say, I need to print 500 books, boom, all at once. We don't do that. You go to the printer, you tell them, look, I need to print maybe 3 to 4 or less than 10 copies of this book. Okay? Now, when you arrive on the printer, you need to be very mindful that the duty of the printer out there is to print books. And then if you're not asking questions, they just do their job and that is that. You need to be mindful at the type of pages that we have. This one here is called creamy bond or creamy bulk. This one it's only a newspaper. We call it a creamy bulk or a creamy bond. So this one normally we use it for the books they've got a lot of pages because as a textbook, because normally a textbook has got a lot of pages, has got drawings inside and so forth. So when you go to the printer, you need to be mindful of this kind of papers. Or you should request them to give you the examples of the books that they have printed, but explain it. So that the quality that you go for is the quality that you understand. Right? One other thing as well is the type of binding. When we talk about binding, it's when we are putting these pages together like this. So this part here, we call it a binding. We've got different types of binding. We've got the Euro binding, which we normally use it to print or to bind it can be your reports at work. You see them. Or we call them the ring binding. The ring like. Do you see them? So not every book can be bound in that way. So we've got the perfect binding, which is very popular. This is perfect binding. Or we call it the glue binding. Get this one. One other thing as well, some of the books, just like Jabana, we use circle stitch binding, which is this one here, staples. Because you're not gonna want to use a circle stitch binding on a book that has got 100 pages, 200 pages or more. So now that you've done all the phases of publishing your book, then you come back, you do what you call a book review. Mind you, people don't know about the book that is there. It's you yourself alone. Then you can to take that book yourself and read it as if it is not your book. In that way, to have that touch and feel. It's more like ngwana fetobelego. Unale this thing of saying, is it my baby? Same as the book, you need to create that bond with the book so that you will see all the mistakes within. You will see, right? So or so. I won't go deeper into details, but then into books, you need to see this font. Is it the font that I wanted? Is it fine? Or this kind of cover. We've got matte. Get this one. We call it matte. Okay? Then we've got the laminated gloss. Get this one, plastic outside. Just like this one. It's shine label. So this one is called a laminated gloss. But in most cases, I don't encourage people to do laminated gloss because in a loho, but then one other thing as well that you should be mindful of is that you don't just go there and say, I need to print my book a laminated gloss or maybe come matte. You need to know your target market. Who are you targeting? Are you targeting people that are always at work or in the office or so forth? This means that you should go for this quality because go office traditional publishers, they might tell you that Tina, we are publishing books this genre. We are only doing Christian books, for example. And when you're not writing about Christianity, you are writing about something else. Maybe you are like me, you are writing romance only. I only write romance. I don't write anything other than romance. You need to be mindful of the topics that you write about. However, topics that you write about should not be limited, should not be something else that you are ashamed to write about. There's a lot of topics that you can write about, lot. And then you know them. Let me tell you, where do I get my stories? How do I get my topics? In most cases, when I'm going to work, I enjoy using a public transport than private transport. Because me using my own car, this means it's going to be only me listening to radio, frustrated on the traffic, thinking about the koloto, da 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 da. But the regular taxi, that's where I get all of, not all, majority of my stories. You will hear, man, believe you me, taxi journalism is the best. I'm giving you ideas. Taxi journalism is the best. Pala you ukwamugozi usafisha krr. Bare chomi money. Now my people around me, they know, be careful, this guy is a writer. Don't be ashamed of that. Don't be ashamed. Mahike, it's the very first time me coming to Northwest, specifically Mahike, not Northwest. But I've seen the different places that if I was living here, I would be writing about them. There's some old buildings that one can write about. And remember, you should write stories, you can understand to narrate them better. You cannot want to write about American gangsterism. You've never been to America before. You need to write about topics, as far as that you're going to be the self-published author, you need to write about topics that you can relate to, topics that you can articulate better. Tell us about how did you grow during that time of apartheid. We need those stories. We need new, fresh stories. Those kind of stories. We've got people who they can stories. What I like about Northwest is that it's one of the cultural provinces that are very, very rich when coming to culture and heritage. You need to write about those things. You need to write about. I'm not saying that people don't have to write about poetry, and you can write poetry, but then what are you narrating? To get my point. Just like back then at school when they say write an essay, a person go and write about teenage pregnancy. 10 people in class writing about teenage pregnancy. Let's 10 tables. Let's 10 tables and write about stories that relate to who we are, so that you can narrate it better. Let's look into Dr. Esther Mahlangu, for example. The old lady is telling the stories that she understands better throughout painting or throughout what do you call it? Visual art. You as a writer as well, you can do that, Akir. I believe Mahike more than you do. Am I lying? Then write about it. Then write something that if I can ask you a question about it, then you're good to ask. The books that you write, if you want to go and take the route yourself publishing, you need to be very mindful on what is it exactly you are writing. I get a more about the download. And like taking it to the self-publisher, but we download. But federal by change. It's just about the way. So while we're still on creative writing, let's talk about ghost writing. Ghost writing. That one has got the lot of money. You can make money out of ghost writing. Let me tell you something. We've got people who have a skill of writing. We have them. But have a skill of telling the story. You have a skill. When you're going to secretary go cricking or go footballing or go community center or go wherever. You're good when coming to writing. You let that listening skill. Then here comes Sam. Some has got a story to tell, but then hawana le skills as one as a beat. That's where ghostwriting comes along. On a simple term, a ghostwriter is the person that takes into account or that takes into a work, other person and put it into words. At the end of the day, they credit back the person. The likes of Somizi Mhlongo, their books are ghostwriting. I've got many clients on the company that we've written their books. I don't want to book a but then when you check the book, that writer. We've got a lot of people here, but they've got story to tell. Marahavana, that skill to write. Are we clear? Then you can collaborate with the next person and say, look, my brother, I need to tell my story into a book. Man, I have a story that I want to tell that I can read about it. I don't know how to write. Then you collaborate. That's what you call ghostwriting. The nice thing about ghostwriting is that when you're gonna get your part, and then we are done. The person who gets the book is the one that goes to sell the book. Whatever that is making on the book, the writer or the ghostwriter has again anyway. Make sense? That is why I'm saying there are some stories that you can tell, but then you don't have a skill of writing. That is when the time you can consider this from now on. So, let's talk about book genres. We often hear about genres. Somebody might be confused and say, must not genre it's about music. We also have got genres in books or in the literature. We've got poetry, we've got novels, we've got motivational books or self-help, we've got short stories, we've got biography, autobiography, you name them, And then one other thing as well for you to do or for you to know is that it's never wrong to be multi-talented, I can say multi-talented or a multi-focused writer. Ga gona molato at all. Myself, I've written 4 books. On top of 4 books, I've got 1 poetry. For the rest, it's novel. I'm publishing 3 books in April, 3 of them at the same day. Ki motivation, ki poetry, ki novel. You can also do that yourself. That's not a problem. But you need to be mindful of the genres and all the differences that they have, right? Here is the biggest challenge that most of writers are having, and then now I sometimes have that as a challenge. Let's talk about writer's block. Do you know what is a writer's block? This one is killing a lot of people, eh? A writer's block. Yeah. So, no. I made peace with it. Believe me, writer's block is not even a medical condition whereby you can say, I need to go and see a doctor, man. Writer's block is there. It's natural. As long as if you are a writer, hey, writer's block, it's your friend. Believe me. So now I made peace with it. And the peace that I made, I'm a seasonal writer. Past December, I have managed to write 3 books. From December tot the whole of December, I made peace or there's nothing that I can write. Get writer's block. I made peace. You yourself out there, you might have a challenge of a writer's block. Am I lying? Saloko page 2, last year January, and you busy telling yourself, yeah, I'm writing a book. This book gonna sell. But going forward, it's not possible. And writer's block, it can cause different things. 1, attention. It might be because you are waking and you are dividing your attention. Then that's when the time you're gonna develop a writer's block. This means you're writing with a less chance, or from 9 to 5, 6 to 3, whatever chance. of which is not wrong. Or it might be because you are running out of ideas, which is possible. I go wrong. We are running out of ideas, Shem. We are, Shem, I don't want to lie. That is when the time I'm telling you, hey, take journalism. Take it to consideration. You get the point? So writer's block, it is whereby you have that idea, man. When I that idea of writing about this story, there's something that is blocking you. All you think about Kid Koloto, Jago Rage. You want to write, but then there is nothing that comes out. So here is a way. If you want to beat writer's block, please identify it first. Can I challenge you? Do you have a challenge of reading, of finishing your story? You've got this book, man, that you want to write, that you want to finish before December. First, identify why. What makes me to not focus on this book is because of this job that I'm doing. Ke tsana ka 9 ko mmereko ke tsaya ka 5 ke fitla jareteng ka mo 7 tshwanetse ke apele bana ke etse di homework and stuff ke o ma 9 10 tshwanetse ke robale ke routine yaka ke weekend ke ya kerekeng ke bona the friends and family ke ya shopping da. But I've got a book here, man, that I want to write and ke batla go e fetsa. Here is the solution. Please sit through the writing competition. Even if your main aim is not to win that competition, but then it's for you to push you to have that sense of deadline. Imagine I go mmereko rebereka was na deadline ya gore no go file a deadline, can you write a report and give it to me? When is the closing date? When is due date now as soon as you are done? Imagine go khotlo ba bjang. Go fa report go fa an assessment ka January, submit ka December. I want a closing date. I want to you push ang. Same as you a writer back at home there. Find something that's gonna push you to a later. Until you push to say, Sam, before January, the closing date of this book. Then you want that writer's block to Tomaya yet. One other thing as well, talk about it. Talk it to, it can be your partner, it can be your friend, it can be whoever. Talk about it to say, hey man, I need to write this book, but then can I lead this challenge? Remember, you're trying to read to beat a writer's block again. And I want this one here, believe you guys, it's gonna like in Nayam Peragel. And it's working literally. And one other thing as well that we don't have to shy away from is that we are living in the world of technology. One of the good days, if not now, your massage fru arsa to shumise the alarm ho santse go chicken jump at on. Same as in the world of writing, we've got an AI. But I'm not saying that you should rely on AI other than you yourself. You guys are amazing, trust me. AI agrees it's been programmed by a human being like Otsona Loena to say but then it plays a very important role when coming to deal with this thing, this writer's block of yours. Ne? The likes of chat. The writers of chat, most of the people by long they're into a varsity space. They can tell about chat. Run, not graduate because of chat today. But then be careful of that, because a person might write a poetry out of chat, go out there and publish it, or maybe they might write the research out of there and go out there and publish it. So be mindful of that. You're not good when coming to assist you. Katabaya, your writer's block. Mind you, you want to be a self-published writer. You need to carry all the responsibilities. You need to meet all the deadlines and make sure that things are according to the plan. So now, improving your writing, this one everybody can do. I cannot dwell much on it. Read and read and read and read and reread your work. Read other people's books, just like me today. There was a stall outside. I'm not sure how many books did I buy today. I've also bought 2 books for donation. I just said, my sisters, look, I'm buying 2 books since well I cannot read Setswana. I'm buying 2 books, please go and donate them. So now we are all about encouraging reading and writing. Please go and donate it elsewhere to ever a person who can benefit. I'm trying to improve my writing here. You too can do the same. I'm also gonna talk about, as far as that you are a writer, you need to be very mindful of the following. Finance. We've spoken a lot of chelete. You are a self-publisher or you are a self-published writer. This means money, money, money your way. You need to be very mindful of the following. If maybe time, you've got a book that you published that is there already, that you are selling, and you are working elsewhere, or even though you are not working, please make sure that always you are separating your bank accounts. Make sure that you do that. Otherwise, you'll end up saying writing, aina chalet. Guys, writing has money. Now I don't do anything other than writing. Next. I'm getting a salary out of writing. I don't do anything. I've given up my job in a lot of things. I was into radio for over 5 years. I was into an engineering space. I was into restaurants. And I said, no, this one is not for me, but I belong here. Make sure that you are mindful of your bankings. Sakara o shumisha bank account one for salary how for boss you just put it there. Be mindful of that. And you should also be mindful when coming to budget how. How do you budget? How do you spend your money that you have worked hard for? I'm not going to talk about budgeting. You know how to break your budget into pieces. Please be a writer that complies. You're a self-publisher. There is nobody that's going to knock on your door and remind you about your SARS, for example. Your income tax, very important. Most people now are very complaining to say, SARS is 20,000 and another 20,000, how? You need to file your returns. We don't want writers they go out there bali broke, whereas that the mutabana before. Whether you have money or not, be mindful of SARS. Remember, we are trying to break the thing of saying self-publishing, it's work. I get people worry about. So be mindful of saying there is SARS out there. You need to also take care into investment. Make sure you're writing, you offer something afterwards. Writing alone itself, having the book like this, it's an investment. Please make sure that you're very careful. One other thing that you should take care of is credit management. Don't be a writer that go all over the places and take credits because when you can be able to afford the credit or you qualify. Yes, you might qualify, but you can't afford. So be mindful of that. In terms of finance, it's very important as a self-published author. I will now quickly jump into marketing and distribution. You have published your book, you printed the book. As long as if you look at all the aspects, the likes of the editing, proofreading, content design, printing, and other things related, also cut any corner. Here we're not going to have a problem. Because mind you, people buy books, quality. If I bought a book, and I more the writer and answer it's John, I'll spread the news like so, to say, that book, no, obviously, that alone will tarnish your brand or your image. Remember, as a writer as you are a brand, okay? So do not allow people to tarnish your brand. Go for quality. In terms of marketing your book, please make sure that you do your book launches. Be mindful of your personal branding. People, on social media, they define who we are. You might take it, you might not. But then nobody wants to buy a book of a writer or a rogamba to go Facebook, go TikTok, go social media. Personal branding is very much important. Self-published books, in relation with your stakeholders. There is a radio station nearby, go there, talk to them, carry your book everywhere you go. Now my first book sold 3,100 copies, very back then. Strategies are simple. I carry my books everywhere I go. I would even do a prank call and say, with my book on my feet or in anywhere, mo taxi. What's up, a friend that I'm phone, I'm putting the book. Here's the next person next to me. Obviously, didn't want to know what this book all about. Hey, Chom, you like the book? Oh, what? Yeah, no, you know, you get the next person's attention. Then they'll want to know what about the book. I'm open for sharing more of the other tips because I'm looking into time. One other thing as well, please attend seminars like this while you are carrying your book. Make sure that you network. Make sure that you are very mindful of the other distribution opportunities. Your Department of Education, your national, not national, provincial in Gauteng. We call it GDE. And I did call it in, whereby you submit your books. Go Eastern Cape, they've got that opportunity. Go to your nearest municipality, ask them, how do you place my books in in your libraries and stuff, right? So those are the opportunities you're going on for self-published authors. Other than that, those are the other opportunities you're going on. I'm not going to talk about them. So, yeah, this should sum up my presentation. Thank you so much.
Very much, Ntate Sam. Reno wa re ka kgotsofatsa abuti Sam. Ke re kopa at least 2 or 3 questions because of nako. A re 5 itle kopa re keeping to give out 2, if no konana na re 1, but at least 2 questions. And then a ke re o teng with that he's available. Re tla botisa tse ding ko ntle.
Okay, we've got one already here. Any other hand? Okay, so only one. Oh.
Dumelang bagaetsho, ke sa palisi yame. Ke na le di tetlebo tse dingwe le di comment le dipotso. Mara ha ke ntse ke utlweletse literature focus yana for this sa le nna 3 days yana gore ke tshoga go bona gore go na le a lot of red tape mo go kwaleng dibuka. Go na le bothata ba policy, go na le bothata ba di-publications, but also red tape ka bo rona, you know, ke bona re ntse re bua ka di-editors gore di neyang leng le bomang gore ba ka thusa yang. Ke be ke gopola di-publications tse di tona yaka bo Mascumela bo Van Skyke gore e ne le di-family business e le motho wa na itseng go o na le degree mara ba bang botlhe ba sena tsone. Mara ba edita ba isa dibuka ko pele mme dibuka tseo di tswella e le gore di a rekisa. No tse e leng gore se nthusa ka red tape ke sema. Ke na le bothata ba gore ga ke shebile literature yana ke gore ke ipotsa gore nkare ga ena return on investment go le gontsi yana ka gone ga ke ka botsa batho ke sa ntlha ke kopana le motho wa leesi o leng gore o kwala buka hela e be e mo tshedisa. Re kana ra botsa batho botlhe ba ba leng fa ba ileng gore ba kwala dibuka ga gona opo e leng gore o dira madi ka dibuka. Ba bang botlhe ba se ba ile gore mo ditheong tse di maleba tse ileng gore ba supporta book writing. Yaanong e go bolella gore ga se viable business e leng gore o ka gona go ka tsenya gore ngwana a ka tswella ya nna mokwadi wa dibuka. Go ra gore e nne a tsamaye e nne mokwadi e nne publisher ka gonne publisher ke gone e bonang gore ke yone kgonang go ira letseno mo lapeng. So ha ile gore re tlo go bankanya dio tseo ke dio tse ileng gore puso le ba ileng gore ba tshwere ditheo tse di ntseng yalo ba tshwantse ba ire mmu o nonofileng gore re kgone go ka tswelela gore go nne le di-policy le administrative platforms tse di maleba. kopa go fa example ko America kwa ha o kwala buka o mention America, they give you a subsidy. How we write a movie and you have an American flag, you've got a subsidy. Ki dilo tse e leng gore di tsweletsa di dira gore go nne le di-mills and bounty tse dintsi yana ka gonne they take pride mo e leng gore ba kwala ka dilo tsa rona mo go rona gantsi ha re kwala re bona go kwalwa ka go tlhapelwa boaka le go bua maaka kore ke tsone tse e leng gore di tsamaisa tsela ya rona mo e leng gore ga gona sepe se sengwe ke tshepa gore boaka re bo tlhaloganya ka botlalo e seng fela ka mokgole re tlhaloganyang ka teng ba e leng gore ba itse gore boaka ke go aka bagaetso ke go aka yaanong ke be ke botsa ke re di-consumers man, and I wanted to find out gore mongwe a me a bua gore ga o kgone go utswetswa literature ke tlhoka gore o explain kgang eo ka gonne similarly yaka bagaetso ba ne ba tseelwa dithata tsa bone tsa literature kgale ke tshepa gore ga o fa motho buka o sa kwala sepe mo go ene a ka etsa ba kwa leina la gagwe then e o be a giwa ko court. So ke tlhoka gore o explainele that part of it e leng gore yalo, and ke batla go araba sengwe gape o ne o boditse gore theater ga ya tlala ka bakwadi. Simple question, simple answer. There's no money in writing. It's very simple. Ka gonne ha kampo ile gore letseno le teng mo kwaleng go kampo go tletse mo yaanong go ra gore le rona ka mo saeteng ya Bokone Bophirima mongwe a me a tswa ko Limpopo go ra gore go na le bosula le maswe a leng teng ka gonne we've got a publishing company ya Bokone Publishers. It's not innovative. Ga ba lori. So ga ba sa lori yana ba tlo go publisha yang batho ka gonne ga ba lori ba setse ba ile gore ba itse gore ba na le money e leng gore ya tsena go bone ga ba kgone go tsweletsa ditoro tsa batho ba bang go pele. You have a pansalb e leng gore le bona a gona ba lori ba e leng gore ba ka kgona go tsweletsa leleme la Setswana kampo dibuka tsa Setswana o dibuka tsa mo Bokone Bophirima as a whole. So ga ona le batho ba ntseng yalo mo ditheong e dira gore go se ke ga nna le mmu at all. Hence that's why o tsa ra motho gore o se ka tswella o dira Setswana kampo o dira English ka gone ga gona economy mo teng. So ke yone kgang e ke buang ke re I hope gore ba e leng gore ke ba ntse ba maketa ba ira dilo tsena re tlhaloganye gore a re tsenyeng economy into the whole part of gore re kwala yang ka gore currently I know there's only one writer that I know that has made money and is continuing to make money of writing. Others, there are other ke ditleke kampo ke ba bang ke dilo tse dingwe gape kampo ba ruta ko dikolong. Ke a leboga.
All right.
Thank you.
Do I have to quick
Okay, let's-
answer? Oh, Hosan Lomong. Okay, all right.
Okay, I think I get as if you don't have a lot to maybe go tlhalose what I said. Ne ke batla go ama issue e nngwe o ya mileng ya gore o ska dirisa some other people gore ba ka go editela go tswa go proofreadela go do that. But I get nna ke ka re ke motho wa SASSA, so I'm a senior citizen. I've been in this for years. And then re na le a group e re bitsang mo Setswaneng re bitsa Pene Botshelo. Wa Pene Botshelo re na le di retired teachers ba Setswana. Na le retired teachers, the lecturers ba ba lecturer Setswana ko di university. And then re na le community ya bakwadi. Mo e leng gore somewhere re seifela ditshenyegelo. Even na ga ke tsa buka ya me manuscript ya me ke isa ko Bokone Bophirima Publishing House gore ba mpublishetse yona. Ke tloga ke ntse ke itse gore e fokotsegile diphoso tse dintsi because of the friends of that community re building. E leng gore before no matter how you self publisher what's a traditional publisher, but we're sure that is an award winning material that book. So re peers, and if we always say a drama, right? So for best drama among us, by at least 3 or 4 of them, they must read the manuscript. Then by says go for report. Then we want to workshop. When I lady the arts and culture, the office of arts and culture, then you go there one of moto, what's about tlhoka workshop on this. And then at least re kgona go builder go strengthena ba. So ke re ko metseng ya rona a re le di-artist a re kopane re dirisane re thusane wa bona. Re itse gore ke a team. A yo mongwe a winne kgotsa a launcha buka re itse gore this is our book. A re utlwa go di winne award ra re yeah this is our book. A re kwala ka Setswana kgotsa re kwala ka Sexhosa kgotsa ka Sendebele ya ka maZulu. A o ka bona the team ya Usiba is so strong, so strong, so strong. A o ka lebala bontsi wa di-national awards ba di tsaya maZulu ka and I tell you most of them ke members tsa Usiba because they are helping each other. And ba bang setse ha ra phela ka dingwaga tse dingwe ba bang ba generation ya colonial ba bang re ba generation ya apartheid ba bang re in between them ba bang ke ba nako ya democracy and we are handing over the baton to the next storytellers. So ke ne ke re ke encourage fela these authors ba ba leng fa gore please dirisanang ska tshaba gore ne o tsa manuscript o tswetse mo le gwafe o tsa nna ke le buka sometimes wa re kwa le buka we romela to a traditional publisher o ntlogela ke le your neighbor kgotsa your friend kgotsa your brother, then the publisher o mpa 30,000 rand gore ke edit your same book ke go edit it maybe free or less as a friend or as a member of one team or of a community group. Thank you for the presentation.
All right. Ke a leboga. Thank you so much. Quick on it. I was not, okay, let me put it in this way so that baske by chia otherwise, ne? When I was saying that not every teacher or not your teacher can be your editor, what I'm referring to is that some always want to cut costs. You might be an English teacher with a qualification or with an experience or with a knowledge of editing. That's it. But then what I'm saying is that you need to do a reference check, a background check on that particular person. Do you get my point? I'm not saying that you are a qualified teacher with maybe you are a subject advisor, you've got, maybe tell me you are an editor for a particular publishing company editing books. One must do the reference check. Thank you. On the issue of people stealing books or stealing manuscripts, that will fall under copyright. Very back then, they taught me that when we talk about copyright, it's all about how can you prove that this is your work. So now, you say to me, the person can steal your work and change their name. Is that what you're saying, right? Right. So, I can take your work and do the rewriting on your work. No matter how much rewriting you've done on the book or on the work, if you know your work, you know your work. So, in terms of copyright, simple one, quick that you should do is that the minute you send me through your manuscript through email, automatically it's your work. What we want is that Kimang Anshichen that work before. We need the date and the time. That's a simple way of copyrighting your work. You can rather email yourself Merkwahao. Kimang Anshichen Merkwahao Bailey between the two. It's you. If you're gonna use a post to send the job, put in the stamp, snally date. Go to a police station, sign. That's what we need. Nobody can steal your work. And then to quickly close up on your comment, I still repeat, maybe time we need a day alone whereby we're gonna talk about writing. Writing has money. And I know why I'm saying writing has money. I know what I'm talking about exactly. So, the other thing as well that we have actually is that it all starts or it all begins go high. Now I can say I've grown in a family whereby they were giving me a support day in, day out. But then at home, if they can tell you how useless writing is, will you come here? No, you can't. Sometimes you need that inspiration from home. Sometimes you need that motivation. No matter how many times you have applied for funding and you were not funded, no matter how many people telling you how poor your writing is, it all begins with you deep down. Writing is money. You need to know what is it exactly you want. Seminars like this ones, that the ones to show you that writing is money. We need books everywhere, my brother. At school, at work, everywhere, books. So it's all about who do you know at what time. That one we cannot shy away from. I'm not talking about corruption, but then I'm talking about connectivity, or I'm talking about networking. I came here, I've met so different people. Some of them that are working on the department, some of them are not. I've bought books. Here are the books that I bought here. No matter how many books that I've bought, these books, they're going to make something to the writer. Ladies and gents, let me take this opportunity and thank you. I'm available for further, but out of this workshop, this means it's a different story. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. With the same, that was very informative. La bona ebile o followile ntho ntse ke bua kopa go rekang dibuka go na le di stolo bagolo. Let us buy books, let us support one another, and ya ka buile ba bang ba donate like yes, we have come to the end of the Bokone Bophirima Literature Focus Festival. It has been very beautiful, a very informative 3 days session, and then your expectations have been met from day one until kacheko. Bale baba winning voucher ke kopa le yang ko tafoleng before le tsamaya ba le fe voucher ya lona o mongwe tla re ha tsa roll on o mongwe tsa toothbrush yalo le yalo. Yes, and then Keratori Relebohe, our organizers, and Nikeratilo Hori, the team batle mo staging baba konang as we are closing. Balim behind this program, Me, Mileng, and your team, Tata Tapelo, if you can just ascend the stage. Relebohe, our partners, Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, Mabana Arts Sports Foundation, Morele Motenge, our host, our venue, National Art Council, National Lottery Commission, National Heritage Council, NFVF, which is National Film and Video Foundation. Thank you very much for organizing such an informative thing. And yaka ke buile bagolo here simolore, I am an author ke ye buka yaka. Everything ntate semtsa itlhalosa ke ye glossy. It's called Scripture into Reality. It's also available on Amazon. But the reason why ke tlisitse, I hope that banamela stage. Neke batlo bala something just for you and everyone. Out of it, just a piece. Yare chosen to make a difference, because I believe each and every person who attended this festival obatloetsa a difference in their community, whether ke di workshop tse le tlo di hostang, whether ke di buka tse tlabe le di kwala, ke di stories tse tlabe le bua ka tsona. It's all because you want to make a difference, and I'm here to tell you that you are chosen to make a difference. Yaka ke bile kare I'm an author, ebile ke moruti mara wa style ne. So le writing yaka ke ya style, and that is why I wrote this scripture into reality book. God has chosen me, or wena, to make a difference not only in my life but also in the world, according to John 15 verse 16. Sometimes we wonder and are full of doubt when such a comment or statement is said to us, when we even think of it. How? Why me? I cannot do it. I am still young. 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 12. I was taught something at a camp I once attended, that instead of thinking of all the reasons why you cannot, how about you start thinking of all the reason why you can? If God said you can and equips you for what he wants you to do, who are you to say no? As young people, the chosen generation, we need to be an example to non-believers and lukewarm Christians by living out the fullest of our potential and see our purpose according to 1 Timothy 4 verse 12. This is my response to why I believe I can. With Jesus in me, I can do all things. Philippians 4 verse 13. I have been chosen by God according to John 15 verse 16. And he will enable me. He gave me a promise and he will fulfill it. Revelations 3 verse 11. And I believe I can because I am loved by the Almighty God. John 3 verse 16. And Romans 8 37 to 39. And he can. Amen. So why do you believe you are chosen and that you can? Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, this is the end. This is the team behind it. They believe they can and they did it. They believe that they are chosen to make a difference. Our founder, Memileng, thank you very much. Our director, the man who's been driving all of us and making sure everything is on point, and Ntate Thapelo, kopara mo feng matsogo. Ntate Romeo in his absence, Liana a re mo phapateleng matsogo. The team behind, most of the time, like the founders, the directors, but the foot soldiers, I'm sure everything runs smoothly. The sound, the camera, the bouncers, everyone who made this possible. Thank you very much. It was successful. Everybody loved it. When I was in the restroom, wow, this is so beautiful, and it was a success. So if Kuku, and only to find out me lerato. So bokuku ba shebile. So lorona as young people, wow, this was a great initiative. So thank you very much. Okay, so bagolo re ya ko parting ya re feditse ra tsamaya. My book is 200 rand. Le ko Amazon teng digital for batlang di teng fale. You can get an autograph from me, Tebogo Makhwane, Miss T. It is an award-winning book. I got an award for it. Yes, I'm an award-winning author. Yes, I'm making money. There's money in writing. You just need to know your target. And then monate wa yona ya ka moruti style. Ke bua ka marato, ke bua ka government, ke bua ka like being chosen, ke bua ka purpose. It's different things. And I'm showing you how scripture. Ke re ba rutuka ka bare dikarabo tsa lona di mo lefokong. Ke le bontsha hore le di krayang. So it's available le ko stolong a re rekeng le tse photo le nna. Ka sane a re kopaneng from 6 to 9 a.m. mo se ikokotlolo sa bophelo ko Madibeng FM 105.3 tlabe ke le fou ntse re gasa re bua ka modimo. And yes, from me, your host Kere ke a leboha. You have been a beautiful audience ko pa di phapatele matsogo from day one until today. So announcement ya dijo bagolo e ana banang le di orange